Chapter 24-21. Qin Yun did not expect that the difference between second divine sun and three divine sun would be so great. It can be said that they are completely different. Especially now that he is inside this nine-colored illusion, he can feel a very cool and refreshing wind blowing over. His whole body feels very comfortable. Qin Yun did not relax his vigilance because he is still worried that the mysterious race is a descendant of Divine Sunday. If it really is a descendant of Divine Sun, then he must be prepared. Qin Yun followed behind Luo, Fu, and others, walking on the colorful grass inside the nine-colored illusion. Three-eyed Divine King came in very early. Luo Fu took out a compass and went to look for Three-eyed Divine King. There is no one else inside the nine-colored illusion. The mysterious race did not show themselves. Qin Yun did not release his mental power to investigate because it is useless. This nine-colored illusion is inconceivably powerful. It is impossible to see through its true appearance. All of this is an illusion. The reason why it can achieve this effect is because there is a very strong mental power that can affect people's souls. Furthermore, the scene is formed by many special blood spirit power. Qin Yun can only roughly guess the principle, but he is unable to create this kind of illusion. There is a nine heavens divine demon, Luo Fu said in deep voice, even though they entered the second divine Sunday. But when they heard about the nine heavens divine demon, the group of three-eyed divine world youngsters jumped in fright. It can be seen that the man-eater has left a deep shadow in their hearts. Don't be afraid of them. Our divine kings are also here, Luo Fu said. Three-eyed divine world has a total of 3 divine kings. The strongest is Three-eyed divine king. The other 2 divine kings are Scarlet-eyed divine king and Fire-eyed divine king. They did not come. Qin Yun did not say anything. He is secretly on guard. Not long after they walked, their eyes suddenly flashed and the surrounding scenery suddenly changed. They are still inside the nine-colored illusion, but now a nine-colored waterfall and many nine-color mountain peaks have appeared. I wonder what's the situation inside the ancestral divine sun. After Qin Yun saw the nine-colored waterfall, he felt that it is somewhat similar to the core region of Three Divine Sunday. After arriving here, they saw many people. In front of them is a very spacious nine-colored lawn. There are all kinds of strange-looking people standing in groups. They're all people from other divine realms. Heavenly Demon Divine King and Divine King Jiang Xian did not come. Qin Yun did not see these 2 divine kings. At this moment, Luo Fu was walking toward a tall and sturdy old man. The people there all had 3 eyes. Although that tall and sturdy old man was an old man, he was full of energy. He wore a cloak and held his upper body, revealing his strong muscles. The vertical eye on his forehead opened, giving off a feeling of sharpness, his gaze extremely sharp. It was obvious that this old man was the Three-eyed God King. When Luo Fu and the others saw the Three-eyed God King, they only went up to greet him before returning to their group. The Three-eyed God King didn't say anything else. Luo Fu and the others didn't mention that they had been attacked by the ogres. It wasn't the right place to talk about it. This was because the 9 heavens god demons and the 9 heavens god race were all present. Although their god kings were not here, there was still a powerful Shantian lord leading a team. Qin Yun observed and discovered that only the three-eyed godly monarch and the heavenly turtle godly monarch had come in person. The god kings of the other god realms did not come. They only sent Shun Tian Jun over. The heavenly turtle godly race has finally arrived. It was so hard to wait for them. These guys are really slow. The person who spoke has a pair of golden wings on his back. He is a person from the golden wing divine world. Then we can begin now, the three-eyed god king said. At this time, several hundred people suddenly appeared in the sky above the crowd. They look like very normal people. This group of people are all men, wearing elegant white blue gowns. Moreover, they are all bald. They slowly landed on the grassland. Qin Yun looked at this group of people and determined that they are not descendants of Divine Sunday. However, he discovered that their mental power is extremely strong and they have very powerful souls. Furthermore, there are 9 dots on their bald heads, arranged in 3 rows. Each row has 3 dots. It is a 9-colored round seal. Xiaoyan, these guys' souls are very strong. They are in no way weaker than the descendants of Divine Sun. Ling Yuner said. Qin Yun is secretly apprehensive. He suspects whether or not this group of people evolved from the descendants of Divine Sun. Or maybe Divine Sun referred to the descendants of Divine Sun and created a similar type of human to suppress the descendants of Divine Sunday. Everyone, thank you very much for honoring me by coming here. The bald middle-aged man who spoke sounded very polite. Who the hell are you? The person who asked is from the Golden Wing Divine World. He is not the least bit courteous. We are the illusion race. We are humans created by the 20th heaven Divine Sun. The bald middle-aged man's self-restraint is very good. He very gently replied, I am Elder Huangguang. Illusion race. From a name, it is clear that they are very proficient in using illusion techniques. Qin Yun carefully thought about it and felt that the illusion race is planning to use illusion techniques to capture the descendants of Divine Sunday. When the body of the descendants of Divine Sun is destroyed, only their souls remain. The souls of the descendants of Divine Sun have very strong, penetrating power. They can easily pass through the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation and cannot be destroyed. If he created an illusion, then he could trap those souls in the illusion and then use other methods to slowly destroy those souls. Qin Yun also thinks that this is a good method, but it will consume a lot of time and energy. Why did you invite us here? More than 200 of us went missing on the way here. The old man from a 9 heavens divine tribe snorted coldly. I suspect that the guy who killed more than 200 of us is hiding here. The old man from a 9 heavens demon tribe also said coldly. More than 200 of our 9 heavens divine demons died together with the people from the 9 heavens divine tribe. The other divine realms are in an uproar. Someone who can kill hundreds of man-eating demons must be very strong. There are not many Divine Sun heavenly beasts here, and our people did not die near the Divine Sun. So we can rule out Divine Sun heavenly beasts. Then there is only one possibility. They were killed by someone who came along the same way. The old man from the 9 heavens divine tribe looked at the people from the heavenly turtle divine realm. The heavenly turtle divine realm took so long to get here with a heavenly turtle divine ship and the godly king himself. We suspect that the heavenly turtle divine realm did it. The old man from a 9 heavens demon tribe glared at the group of heavenly turtle people. Qin Yun and Luo Fu looked at each other in surprise. The 9 heavens demon tribe and 9 heavens god tribe knew that hundreds of their people died and even suspected the heavenly turtle people. The old man from the 9 heavens god tribe looked at the illusion tribe and shouted, Illusion tribe, we came here to keep the appointment, but hundreds of our people died. Since you have a favor to ask of us, you must uphold justice for us and capture the culprit who killed hundreds of our people. There were also hundreds of heavenly turtle people present. Although they were gentle by nature, they couldn't help but feel angry at this moment. The old man from the 9 heavens demon tribe said, Friend from the illusion tribe, help us capture all the heavenly turtle people and let us deal with them. Do this well, and we will be willing to help you. The 9 heavens god tribe and the 9 heavens demon tribe were very domineering. They also had their eyes on the heavenly turtle people. The heavenly turtle people never made enemies of others and were very patient. But now they hated these man-eating demons to the bone. The man-eating demons obviously wanted to eat the heavenly turtle people. Everyone knew that the heavenly turtle people were very strong and had extremely strong defenses. Their natural turtle shells were very hard and contained mysterious energy that could protect the bodies of the heavenly turtle people. Therefore, in the eyes of the man-eating demons, the heavenly turtle people were a great tonic. We didn't kill your people. The heavenly turtle divine king shouted. The heavenly turtle divine king was an amiable old man. The golden turtle shell on his back was also very bright and relatively large. Elder Mirage of the Illusion tribe said, Friend from the heavenly turtle divine realm didn't do this. We can see that. How can you see that? The old man from a 9 heavens demon tribe was very unconvinced. He said, The heavenly turtle people killed hundreds of our divine monsters. Are you going to protect the heavenly turtle people? We can see if people are lying. The heavenly turtle divine king didn't lie just now. Elder Mirage said in a harmonious voice, "How about this? We will interrogate those who came here at the same time. They are suspicious people. We will know once we interrogate them." "Fine. If the illusion tribe can't find anything, then we will leave immediately. Don't even think of asking us to help you." The old man from the Nine Heavens demon tribe said very arrogantly, "And the heavenly turtle people will also be our enemies." Chinya knew that these man-eating demons definitely wouldn't help him out of the kindness of their hearts. They had only come to stir up trouble. Elder Mirage brought people to the heavenly turtle divine king's side. After understanding the situation, he walked over to the three-eyed divine king. In this beautiful nine-colored illusion, the atmosphere suddenly became a little strange. Luo Fu and the others were very nervous at this moment. Elder Mirage also learned that the heavenly turtle divine ship allowed Luo Fu and the others to board, so he wanted to ask Luo Fu. At this moment, Qinyan took off the eye on his forehead and jumped out. He said, "There is no need to investigate. I am the one who killed those hundreds of man-eating demons." "Bastard, what did you say?" The old man from the Nine Heavens demon tribe said angrily, "Are you calling us man-eating demons? I am a human from the divine wilderness. I met Luo Fu and the others on the road and joined their team, but we were surrounded by hundreds of man-eating demons. They wanted to eat us." Qinyan looked coldly at the old man from the Nine Heavens demon tribe. "He is not lying." Elder Mirage frowned and said, Nine Heavens demon tribe, it was your subordinates who ate humans first, so they were killed. That is pardonable." "Bullshit. This can't be done by this guy alone. That group of three-eyed people must have participated. Quickly hand them over, or we will start a war." The old man from the Nine Heavens demon tribe said angrily. The Nine Heavens demon tribe also let out angry curses. It can be seen that they do not want to lose out. They must take down Qin Yun and Luo Fu. "No, I did all by myself." "If you don't believe me, if your Shintian Jun doesn't want to go up, then let the Tao God Realm and Saint God Realm come. As many as you want. See how I kill them." Qin Yun sneered and said, "Just you group of man-eating demons. I can casually slap you to death. In my eyes, you're no different from weeds." Chapter 24-22. Nine Heaven Divine Race and Nine Heaven Demon Race are tyrannical in God Desolate, capturing people to eat. They completely treat God Desolate as the Nine Heavens. In the Nine Heavens, because there are no restrictions, there are no consequences for them to eat people. But it is different in God Desolate. They use this method to cultivate killing innocents, creating a large amount of resentment, causing their evil energy to become denser and denser. One day, their soul will be corroded by evil, and then they will become evil devils. In the end, they will only be courting death. When other people meet man-eating devils, it is too late to hide. They don't even dare to speak in front of them. And now Qin Yun is saying that these man-eating devils are as easy to deal with as weeds in his eyes. The illusion race had long heard of the Nine Heavens divine race and Nine Heavens demon race's notoriety. However, they still invited this group of people. This made Qin Yun very displeased. Furthermore, Three-Eyed Divine King clearly knows that his subordinates were besieged by man-eating devils and were almost eaten, but now he is completely indifferent. These people are so afraid of man-eating devils. This made Qin Yun despise them from the bottom of his heart. No matter what, you admit that you killed hundreds of our compatriots. Then you must repay this debt with blood. The old man from a Nine Heaven Divine race sneered. "I don't believe that you can kill hundreds of experts by yourself." "Experts? They are not worthy," Qin Yun said coldly. "They're a group of man-eating devils. They're clearly the ones who want to eat people. Can't we fight back?" Nine Heaven Divine race old man angrily rebuked. "Shut up. Truly full of nonsense. Our Nine Heaven Divine race is a very friendly race. It is because you God desolate's local weaklings are jealous of our strength that you go around saying that we are man-eating devils. 9 Heaven Demon Race middle-aged man also said coldly, our 9 Heaven Demon Race is also a race that loves peace. But we are being maliciously slandered by the weak humans of God Desolate, saying that we are man-eating devils. At this time, 9 Heaven Divine Race and 9 Heaven Demon Race's side started complaining that people are spreading rumors that they are man-eating devils. Qin Yun's expression is gloomy. He secretly clenched his fists. He finally experienced how shameless these man-eating devils are. Luo Fu and company are also infuriated. He has repeatedly signaled Three-Eyed God King with his eyes and sent him a voice transmission, hoping that Three-Eyed God King would help Qin Yun. But the Three-Eyed God King did not react at all. Everyone from the divine world knew that the 9 Heavens Divine Race and the 9 Heavens Demon Race were man-eating demons, and they were certain that their people had been eaten before. However, because they didn't want to become enemies with the ogres, they pretended not to see it. As long as they didn't lose too many people, they wouldn't take it to heart. If they really became enemies with the ogres, they would lose even more people. Elder Mirage, this person personally admitted to killing hundreds of our compatriots. Now that he is in your territory, shouldn't you capture him and hand him over to us? The old man from the 9 Heaven Divine clan looked at Elder Huanguang. The 9 Heavens Monstrous Race's middle-aged man said, wait, this person wants to shoulder the responsibility alone. I don't believe that he alone can kill hundreds of our people. Qin Yun touched the blue chain hanging around his neck. He could attack at any time. Don't talk about hundreds of man-eating demons. Even if there were thousands, I would still kill them like weeds. Qin Yun laughed coldly. If you don't believe me, send out a Tao God Realm guy to fight with me. Weak human from the heavens, divine desolate. Don't think that just because the heavens divine desolate is a powerful divine world, you can also become powerful. In our eyes, you're just an idiot. In our eyes, you humans from the heavens divine desolate are just weak idiots. The old man from the 9 Heaven Divine Race laughed loudly and said, Qin Yun looked at Elder Huanguang and asked, if you can tell if I am lying or not, then you will definitely believe me. Since their subordinates want to eat people, then what's wrong with me killing them? Your illusion race is truly a bunch of cowards. You are actually afraid of these man-eating demons. His words immediately caused the people from the illusion race to feel very unhappy, because they're being scolded, but they can't refute Qin Yun. Qin Yun said with a sneer, illusion race, don't think that just because you are hiding, you won't be targeted by the man-eating demons. In the eyes of the man-eating demons, you are just a new dish. They will think of a way to capture your people, and then give a good try. Damn bastard, shut up. The old man from the 9 Heaven Divine Race shouted furiously. He wanted to rush over, but he did not make a move. After all, this is the territory of the illusion race, and it is also within the myriad realms Divine Sunday. They all have to restrain themselves a bit to avoid dying here. Elder Huanguang did not say a word because he did not know what to say. Of course, he knew that Qin Yun was not lying, but he could not offend the 9 Heaven Divine Race and the 9 Heaven Demon Race. Idiot of the heavens divine desolate, you keep saying that you are not afraid of the Tao God Realm. Then let me exchange a few moves with you. A young and handsome man suddenly walked out from the 9 Heaven Divine Race's side. Seeing this man walk out, someone laughed and said, Jiang Fengji, you are the grandson of divine King Jiang Xian. The blade of light could become very long and could easily slice through all kinds of hard objects. After his finger condensed the light blade, he swept it towards the ring. Jiang Fengji, who was running around madly, suddenly stopped. His body was actually cut into two from his waist. The two pieces of his body fell to the ground. All of this caused people to be unable to react for a moment. They're unable to accept the fact that Jiang Fengji has been cut in half at the waist. Running around me like a monkey, he said. This is truly stupid. Stupid? You are the stupid one. Qin Yun jumped over. his feet landed on the ground. His heaven-trampling divine boots emitted incomparably hot flame and stepped on Jiang Fengji's body. Boom! Qin Yun stepped on an incomparably fierce flame. The flame spread out in all directions like a huge ripple. Jiang Fengji has disappeared forever just like that, being cut in half at the waist and then burned. This is the fate of weeds. Human-eating devil is inferior to weeds. Weeds have been burned, but at least they still have roots. This guy has nothing left. Qin Yun's voice is filled with incomparable contempt. Three-eyed divine king, elder mirage, heavenly turtle divine king, and other divine heaven monarchs' pupils shrank in shock. A sacred god realm can actually easily kill a powerful young Tao god like Jiang Fengji. Furthermore, the flame Qin Yun released earlier is very strong, so strong that people can't tell what kind of flame it is condensed from divine power. Qin Yun has 10 images. His 10 images are condensed from divine power. Naturally, it is very difficult to tell. He killed divine King Jiang Xian's grandson. 9 Heaven Divine Race's old man is also incomparably shocked. He shouted, "Illusion race, you must capture this person. Divine King Jiang Xian's grandson was killed here. Your responsibility is not small." Elder Mirage cursed in his heart. It was clearly Jiang Fengji who was courting death. "All right, if you are not going to attack, then we will." 9 Heaven Divine Race's side has already made their preparations. "Capture him." 9 Heaven Demon Race's side also shouted, "Human-eating devil, just you wait. Qin Yun, will definitely kill all of you one day." Qin Yun's body suddenly disappeared, leaving only his voice reverberating in the surroundings. Everyone's body trembled again. Qin Yun said a lot of words just now, but the 2 words Qin Yun is especially shocking to them. That is the person with the 10 images of divine desolate. Qin Yun is the 9 Yang Palace King. He holds the divine king heavenly seal of divine desolate. He has never been afraid of 9 Heaven Divine Race and 9 Heaven Demon Race. Moreover, he has killed many experts of the 2 races, so he is very famous. Chapter 24-23. After Qin Yun killed Jiang Fengji, he immediately used the void step and left. He was not greedy, or else he would not be able to escape if he was surrounded by many Shintianjun. Furthermore, this place was the territory of the illusion race. It was an illusion. Qin Yun was not familiar with this kind of illusion, so he had to leave as soon as possible so that he could buy more time to get rid of this illusion. The death of Jiang Fengji was enough to intimidate the 9 Heaven Divine Race. During this period of time, the emperors of the 9 heavens have been saying that Qin Yun was a tool. So, Shun Tianjun of the 9 Heaven Divine Race and the other higher-ups of the God world all knew about this. Even so, many people still felt that Qin Yun was a great threat. Especially now, the other people of the God world all saw Qin Yun's ability. A Saint God Realm cultivator charged into this place alone, killed Jiang Fengji in front of so many people of the 9 Heaven Divine Race, and escaped unscathed. The faces of the illusion race people turned ugly, because Qin Yun had run away from their territory. Illusion race, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and capture that bastard. The old man of the 9 Heaven Divine Race shouted angrily when he saw that Elder Huangguang and the others were still standing there. If you want to capture him, go capture him. Elder Huangguang was also very angry. He had originally invited the 9 Heaven Divine Race and the 9 Heaven Demon Race over to discuss something. But now that something like this had happened, there was no way to discuss it. Moreover, the attitude of the 9 Heaven Divine Race and the 9 Heaven Demon Race was too bad. They did not give the illusion race any face. Three-eyed God King said in a low voice. The emperors of the 9 heavens said that he would most likely die after entering the 3rd myriad world, Divine Sunday. He is actually still alive. Luo Fu and the others were also silent. Qin Yun had given them a very good impression. After all, he had saved their lives. Moreover, he was a very good person and did not put on any airs. During the time that Qin Yun had spent with them, the charisma he had displayed had conquered Luo Fu and the others, making them want to rely on Qin Yun. Isn't this your territory? Where can Qin Yun run to? The middle-aged man of the 9 heaven demon race shouted, "That guy killed hundreds of our people and is our great enemy. Your illusion race must help us capture him." Elder Mirage ordered people to track down Qin Yun. Furthermore, he exhorted his subordinates not to attack Qin Yun if they discovered him. Instead, they would maintain a distance. There was no need to doubt Qin Yun's strength. He was able to beat up Jiang Fengji, who was at the Dao God Realm. If Qin Yun stepped into the Dao God Realm, those heavenly lords would not be able to sleep well. After Qin Yun fled far away, he immediately let Yang Yang out. "Yang Yang, I'm being hunted down. Do you know how to enter the core region of the myriad realms, divine sun?" Qin Yun carried Yang Yang on his back and quickly fled. This is the 9-colored fantasy realm. Yang Yang looked at the beautiful 9-colored scenery around him and said, "When the sun grows to a certain stage, the outer region will have different scenes according to the creatures created by the sun." Yang Yang pointed in a direction and said, "Brother, run over there. There's a teleportation array over there." Qin Yun heaved a sigh of relief. As long as Yang Yang knew how to enter the core region, he would be safe. The divine sun is similar to the sun. Therefore, the illusion race was created and the 9-colored illusory realm was created? Asked Qin Yun. "And the illusion race is a race with very strong mental power." Yang Yang said, "Brother, did you meet them? Chased by them? Impossible, they're not scoundrels. It's a long story. They're not scoundrels, but cowards." Qin Yun carried Yang Yang on his back and flew through the 9-colored fantasy realm. At the same time, he opened his heavenly eye. At this time, he sensed that many people are approaching, as well as a strong mental power wave. "It's the illusion race," Yang Yang said in low voice. "Brother, they're using their mental power to search for you." Qin Yun is not afraid because he can reach the teleportation array very soon. Yang Yang, the construction of the second divine sun's core region should be more or less done. "Do you think there are other humans inside?" Qin Yun asked. "Could there be illusion race?" "It is impossible for there to be only one race created by the divine sun. It is very likely that there are several races. They are mainly used to protect the myriad realms' divine sun and suppress the descendants of the divine sun. The illusion race is not from the core region. The core region is generally inhabited by elves, dragon race, and fire race." Yang Yang said, "Dragon race?" Qin Yun is somewhat surprised. If there is a dragon race in the core region, then it must be a very powerful sun dragon. The sun dragon totem Qin Yun obtained before is very likely because of this. There might be a dragon race in the core region of the ancestral god sun. "Big brother, don't worry. As long as I am here, no one will dare to bully you in the core region." Yang Yang said, "What about the illusion race in the outer region? Are they afraid of you?" Qin Yun ran frantically and sensed more and more mental power wave appearing. "Of course they are not afraid of me, because with their level, they are not qualified to know of my existence." Yang Yang delicately groaned and said, "If I have the chance, I will let them see my power." Very soon, Qin Yun arrived at the teleportation array. Strangely, Qin Yun's heavenly eye cannot see through the 9-colored fantasy realm, but he can see the mysterious teleportation array on the ground. After Qin Yun entered the teleportation array, he activated it just like he did when he was in the second divine Sunday. At this time, a voice echoed out, "Qin Yun, cooperate with us. We can protect you." The one who spoke is Elder Huangguang. "Why should I cooperate with you?" Qin Yun still needs some time to activate the teleportation array. "You are a very capable person. If you stay, we will help you resolve the conflict with 9 heaven divine race and 9 heaven demon race. As long as you hand over the divine king heavenly seal to them, our illusion race can guarantee your safety." Elder Huangguang said. Qin Yun cannot help but laugh loudly and said, "Illusion race? Do you really think your face is that big? Resolve conflict? Impossible." "Why not? As long as you hand over the divine king heavenly seal, it will be fine. You should know that you should not have the divine king heavenly seal. Elder Huangguang let out a long sigh and said, "Only by doing this can you survive. You are a rare genius. You must cherish your life. I should not have the divine King Heavenly Seal. It seems like you don't know anything about the divine King Heavenly Seal." Qin Yun said with sneer, "I don't want to talk to you. In short, I will not give up on the divine King Heavenly Seal. Also, help me tell those ogres that I will go and cause trouble for them very soon." After Qin Yun finished speaking, he activated the teleportation array. In the blink of an eye, Qin Yun disappeared from the nine-colored illusion realm. After Qin Yun disappeared, Elder Huangguang cannot help but cry out in alarm. What happened? Why did he suddenly disappear? This is impossible. How can someone escape from the nine-colored illusion realm? Elder, just now, it seems like there was movement from the teleportation array. Teleportation array. Could it be that teleportation array? Teleportation array that leads to the core region? A group of illusion race people are extremely shocked. Of course they know about the core region. They also know that there is a mysterious teleportation array that leads to the core region. However, even if they found that teleportation array, it would be very difficult to open it. Qin Yun finally left the nine-colored illusion realm and arrived at the core region. The core region of the second God Sun is very similar to the three God Sunday. It can be said that the growth of the second God Sun's core region is only faster than the three God Sun's core region. When Qin Yun and Yang Yang were in the three God Sun, they saw the appearance of the nine-colored waterfall. After the nine-colored spring water flowed down, it formed a large piece of land. Within the second God Sun, the earth has already appeared. Above the huge fireball above the center, nine huge nine-colored rivers appeared. This huge fireball is the core of the God Sun. It looks like a sun from a long time ago. There is a huge fountain at the top. It is as shocking as a volcanic eruption. The core region is empty. The ground is very flat, and there are no races here. There are no living beings here. It seems like this God Sun is still very young. There must be living beings inside the ancestor God Sun. Yang Yang giggled, flew above the huge fireball, and began playing on top of the nine-colored waterfall. Qin Yun took a deep breath. After resting for a while, he released mental nether moon, concentrated his mental power, and entered the huge fireball. "Yuelon! Yuelon!" Qin Yun called out to Xiao Yuelon. He used this method to contact Lu Yu Shuyan before. Lu Yu Shuyan said that after she entered the core region, she fell into a deep slumber because she was too bored. She heard Qin Yun calling her very early on, but she thought it was a dream, so she did not wake up immediately and let Qin Yun call her for a long time. And now, Xiao Yuelon seems to have woken up very quickly. Qin Yun only shouted for a while, and then he heard Xiao Yuelon's pleasantly surprised voice. "Xiao Yun, little husband, is it really you? How did you find me?" "Great, great!" Xiao Yuelon very happily shouted. "Big sister Yuelon, big sister Yuelon." When Yang Yang heard Xiao Yuelon's voice, she also sweetly shouted, "Yang Yang? So you brought Xiao Yun here, no wonder." Xiao Yuelon said with smile, "Thank you. You're welcome." Yang Yang said with smile, "Big sister Yuelon, I will continue playing. I won't disturb you and little husband." This little girl. Xiao Yuelon giggled. Qin Yun also released Mo, Little Ant Queen, and Little Jade Rabbit and let Yang Yang play with them. "Yuelon, I went to Sister Shuyin's place before." Qin Yun said. "Did she tell you about the Divine Sun descendants?" Xiao Yuelon asked. "There should be many Divine Sun descendants of the three Divine Suns, right? Those Divine Sun descendants are truly terrifying." Qin Yun explained the process in detail. "Xiao Yun, release your Divine King Heavenly Seal. I will help you refine it and brand it with the second Divine Sun's imprint." Xiao Yuelon said. Qin Yun released the Divine King Heavenly Seal and let it enter the gigantic fireball. "Yuelon, did you already know that I am a tool?" Qin Yun asked. "You should have asked Big Sister Master, right? Don't take it to heart." Xiao Yuelon giggled and said, "Don't you know what kind of feelings we have for each other? Let me tell you, there are no tools in this world. You are you." Qin Yun said with smile, "Yuelon, since you said that, I am even more relieved." Chapter 24:24. Xiao Yuelon and Lu Yushuyan are the same. They still don't know the specific situation after the Outer Fringe Realm. They also don't know how long it will take for them to reach the Outer Fringe Realm. All they knew was that they would be able to improve greatly in the Divine Sun Core. This kind of improvement would bring them great benefits. Xiao Yun, when we come out of the Outer Fringe, there will be more and more things to do. Xiao Yuelon sighed lightly and said, "At that time, I won't be able to accompany you often. It's all right. Didn't you say that you would bring me along to complete goddess mission? You must remember to bring me along." Qin Yun said with smile, "If possible, I will definitely bring you along." Xiao Yuelon said with a smile. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon didn't talk about the Empyreans again because it involves too many things. There are many things that Xiao Yuelon doesn't know about. Very soon, Xiao Yuelon helped Qin Yun refine the Divine King Heavenly Seal and branded it with the second Divine Sun mark. The second Divine Sun has yet to fully mature, so I can't borrow much power through the God King Heavenly Seal for the time being. Xiao Yuelon said, "Only if you can master a method to restrain the descendants of the Divine Sun will the Myriad Realms' Divine Sun be willing to lend you its divine power. Regardless, the godly Monarch Heaven Seal's potential is immense." He secretly tested it and discovered that after the Divine King Heavenly Seal was refined by Xiao Yuelon, its divine power has increased. Now we just have to wait for you to figure out a way to restrain the descendants of the Divine Sun God. Xiao Yuelon said, "In short, whether it is our 9-Sun Divine Maiden or the 9 Heavens Divine Maiden, we are unable to find a way to restrain the descendants of the Divine Sun. What about the other divine worlds?" Qin Yun asked. Then he mentioned the illusion race's invitation to the other divine worlds. "I don't think the illusion race can do anything about it, so they plan to collect more information on how to fight against the descendants of the Sun God, or learn from them. There are descendants of the Divine Sun in every divine realm, but they can only move within the Divine Sun. Only the strongest people in the divine realm know of the existence of the Divine Sun's descendants." Xiao Yuelon said, "So the illusion race is looking for a way to restrain the descendants of the Divine Sun. Could it be that they think that the 9 Heavens Divine race and the 9 Heavens Demon race are very experienced in this aspect, which is why they are so tolerant towards these ogres?" Qin Yin finally understood why the illusion race wanted to invite the group of ogres. In the eyes of the illusion race, whether or not the man-eater demon ate humans had nothing to do with them. This was because the illusion race had been created to destroy the descendants of the God Sun. As long as they could destroy the descendant of the Divine Sun God, the illusion race would do anything, not to mention allying with a group of man-eating demons. Xiao Yun, the Myriad Realms' Divine Sun, created many races for development. Not only is it to eliminate the descendants of the Divine Sun, it is also to protect the Divine Sun and maintain the order of the Divine Desolate. Xiao Yuelon said, "Yuelon, can you contact Yume now?" Qin Yun asked, "How is her situation?" Xiao Yume is inside the Ancestor God Sun, and the situation inside the Ancestor God Sun is certainly different from Second God Sun and 3 God Sun Day. The Ancestral God Sun was a Myriad Realms Divine Sun that had appeared a long time ago, and it was a fusion of many ancient suns. There were definitely many descendants of the God Sun in the Ancestor God Sun, because the descendants of the God Sun had already appeared when the ancient God Sun was still alive. She must be sleeping. It's too far away, so I can't wake her up. Xiao Yuelon smiled and said, "Go over and wake her up." Qin Yun is still somewhat reluctant to part with Xiao Yuelon. After Qin Yun leaves, Xiao Yuelon will continue sleeping. She won't feel bored while sleeping. Qin Yun originally wanted to enter the huge fireball, but Xiao Yuelon said that other than her, no one can enter. If he forced his way in, it would be very dangerous. Yang, quickly come back and prepare to set off for the Ancestor God Sun," Qin Yun said with a smile. Yang immediately brought the few cute little guys back to Qin Yun's 9-Sun Divine Spirit. Speaking of which, it is strange. After Qin Yun entered the core region of the Divine Sun, the 9-Sun Divine Spirit did not have any reaction. According to Xiao Yuelon, the nine-sun divine spirit is completely Qin Yun's own. Its relationship with the divine sun is not very close, but it is still somewhat related. As for how it will develop in the future, no one knows. In short, if Qin Yun's nine-sun divine spirit also has a divine sun, it will definitely be very powerful in the future. Xiao Yuelon controlled the energy of the divine sun core and opened a spatial door above Qin Yun. Xiao Yun, go over after you become invisible. Maybe a race has already been born inside the ancestor god sun. Xiao Yuelon said, after you get there, try your best not to come into contact with those races to avoid conflict. What kind of race will there be in the core region of the ancestor god sun? Qin Yun is suddenly very curious. Now he has completely concealed his aura. Most likely Sun Dragon, Xiao Yuelon said. If it's the Sun Dragon race, you must remember, try your best not to come into contact with them. Otherwise, with their bad temper, it will be very easy for them to fight with you. Really? The temper of the Sun Dragon race is very fiery? Qin Yun is already flying towards the spatial door in the sky. According to my understanding, the Sun Dragon race is like this. Of course, their nature is not bad. It's just that their temper is bad, and they are rather crude. Xiao Yuelon said with smile. Xiao Yun, after you get there, send my regards to Yueme. Qin Yun has already entered the spatial door. In the blink of an eye, he arrived at the core region of the ancestor god sun. This way, he won't need to travel a long distance to reach the ancestor god sun. He can save a lot of time. Qin Yun directly arrived at the core region of the ancestor god Sunday. This core region is similar to the second god sun. It has already formed a large piece of land. The huge, sun-like fireball in the center is the core. A large amount of nine-colored spring water gushed out from the top of the core, forming 4 huge rivers. Then they slid down and turned into 9 colored waterfalls. The spring water moistened the soil and filled the soil with divine power. The core region of the ancestor god sun is somewhat different from the second god Sunday. There are already many towering mountains here. Those mountains are far away from the huge fireball in the center. When Qin Yun looked at those mountains, he suddenly heard a dragon roar. Sure enough, a sun dragon has appeared. Qin Yun is right beside the core. This place is still very flat. There are no tall mountains, and there are no sun dragons here. Sun dragons shouldn't dare to approach. Ling Yun said with smile. There must be some kind of taboo near the core that prevents those races from approaching. That's good. Qin Yun doesn't want to come into contact with a sun dragon race. If a conflict really occurs, it will not be easy to deal with. After all, those races were created by the myriad realms' divine Sunday. Not only they're used to fight against the descendants of the divine sun, they might even be able to descend into the divine desolate and help the myriad realms' divine court maintain the order of the divine desolate. Qin Yun did not release Yang Yang this time. Just like before, he sent his formidable mental power into the divine sun to call out to Xiao Yueme. Yueme! Yueme! Qin Yun sent his mental power into the huge core and called out to Xiao Yueme. This time is not as fast as calling Xiao Yuelon, but Qin Yun is very patient. When he called Lu Yu Shuyin, it took him a very long time. Qin Yun spent several hours before he heard Xiao Yueme's voice. Brother, is that you? Why did you appear in my dream again? Do you want to pinch my face? Xiao Yueme's voice came out, sometimes loud and sometimes small. It can be seen that she is still in a half-asleep and half-awake state. Tian Yu Shunji, quickly wake up. I just roasted a big cow. If you don't wake up, Yang Yang will eat it all. Qin Yun said with smile. Xiao Yueme suddenly woke up and shouted in alarm. Brother, is it really you? Of course it's me. It was Yuelon who sent me here. You are sleeping like a log. Qin Yun said with smile. What a pity. I can't go in and find you now. I haven't pinched your face for a very long time. Xiao Yueme giggled and said, Brother, you finally came? I thought you would take a very long time to come here. I underestimated you. Little girl, how can you underestimate me? Qin Yun shook his head and smiled, then took out Divine King Heavenly Seal and said, Quickly help me refine Divine King Heavenly Seal. All right, Xiao Yuanmei is very happy and promptly stored the Divine King Heavenly Seal inside the core. Yuanmei, I really did not expect you to be Tian Yuxinji. Qin Yun said with smile. I thought you were just making things up. I really did not expect you to be so awesome. A3. A real man doesn't boast about his past glory. Then again, the current me is not necessarily worse than before. Xiao Yuanmei said with mischievous smile. Actually, I don't remember much about my past experiences. I only have a very vague memory. Just treat it as me bragging. Yuanmei, you're the big sister of Nine-Sun Divine Maiden. You should know a lot of things, right? Qin Yun suddenly asked in a very serious manner. Xiao Yuanmei said in low voice, Brother, do you know something? I know a lot of things. Qin Yun told her about his encounter with heavenly venerables, as well as the matter of Divine Sun's descendant. Brother, don't take the matter of being a tool to heart. That heavenly venerables is not even qualified to carry your shoes. Xiao Yuanmei said in a very heroic tone. After I leave, I will bring you to find that bastard and properly beat him up. He actually wants to kill my brother to confirm his Tao. I will kill him. I knew that Yuanmei would help me a lot. Qin Yun said with gratified smile. Of course. What bullshit, Emperor. I will kill him with a backhand slap. He still wants to steal Divine King Heavenly Seal. He is not qualified. Xiao Yuanmei seems to be looking down on that heavenly venerables. Yuanmei, do you know who created me? Qin Yun asked. I'm not too clear about this. Little sister Yu Tian should know. She is now the palace master of the Heaven Creation Divine Palace. Your birth is related to the Heaven Creation Divine Palace. Xiao Yuanmei said. The Heaven Creation Divine Palace is even more mysterious now. It is related to the ancient desolate. After Yu Tian became the palace master of Heaven Creation Divine Palace, she met with Qin Yun and told him some news. Later on, Heaven Creation Divine Palace became very low-key and did not send too many people to participate in those major events. Now that Qin Yun heard Xiao Yuanmei's words, he feels that Heaven Creation Divine Palace is most likely a hidden super strong faction. Chapter 24-25. Qin Yun previously thought that sun dragons could not approach this place. He thought that this is a forbidden area. Now that he knows that sun dragons are here, he immediately became very vigilant. Yuanmei, are those sun dragons very strong? Qin Yun promptly concealed himself and retracted his aura. They are quite strong, don't worry, I am here. Xiao Yuanmei said. Not long after, several middle-aged men appeared. These middle-aged men are all wearing fiery red battle armor, holding dragon head sabers in their hands. Their aura is overbearing. Their aura is very strong. Qin Yun cannot tell if they are divine, heavenly monarch, or powerful Tao God Realm experts. In short, this kind of powerful sun dragons cannot be judged with ordinary eyes. Furthermore, they must have powerful bodies and can use divine sun power. Their strength must be unfathomable. After those middle-aged men rushed over, they very carefully and vigilantly dispersed, their hands tightly gripping large sabers. What business do you have here? Xiao Yuanmei's voice came out from the core. Divine daughter, we sensed a spatial fluctuation here. After our discussion, we confirmed that a spatial passage has been opened. A middle-aged man said. I was the one who did it. It's fine. You can go back. Xiao Yuanmei indifferently said. You all performed very well. Your reaction was very timely. You should indeed do this. It's good that nothing happened. We will leave now. These middle-aged men only came to take a look and then immediately left. They are very respectful towards Xiao Yuanmei. After they left, Qin Yun let out a sigh of relief. Yuanmei, they really listened to you. Qin Yun said, Sun dragons are pretty good. They're just a bit careless. You have been here for so long. They finally decided to come and take a look. Xiao Yuanmei said with smile. Before I came, Yuan warned me not to have any conflict with the sun dragons. Qin Yun said, Actually, she doesn't need to be so worried. Xiao Yuanmei said solemnly, Brother, big sister really needs to warn you. If you meet the sun dragons here, and I haven't woken up, it will be very dangerous for you to clash with them. That's right. Just now those few people's stance was very scary. Qin Yun estimated the strength of those few middle-aged men. Even if they faced a large number of divine sun descendants, they would definitely be able to escape unscathed. There are many divine sun descendants of ancestor divine sun. Originally, they were all blocked in one place, but in the end, they couldn't stop them, and the Nine Heavens divine race was useless, so they could only let the Nine Heavens divine race leave. Xiao Yuanmei sighed and said, "There are many divine sun descendants in the outer region. Moreover, they are very strong." Hearing Xiao Yuanmei's words, Qin Yun cannot help but worry. Zhu Xinyang's situation was obviously the most serious. If a descendant of the divine sun enters, wouldn't that mean that the ancestral divine sun will fall? Qin Yun was very worried. It won't fall immediately, but it will enter a long period of chaos. The sun dragon will stop them. Xiao Yuanmei said, "The creatures in the core region are all very powerful. They can suppress divine sun descendants for a very long time, but they are unable to kill them. What about the outer regions? Are there any other living beings? There are illusion race in the outer region of second divine sun." Qin Yun said, "The environment of the second god sun is more relaxed. There are not many descendants of the god sun there, so there is room for the illusion race to grow. The outer region of the ancestral god sun is not possible. There is no time to create other living beings to fight against the divine sun descendants." Xiao Yuanmei lightly sighed and said, "In short, if there is no way to exterminate the divine sun descendants, then we will have to deal with them. In the end, the divine sun will walk towards destruction." Qin Yun immediately felt a very heavy pressure in his heart. Divine sun descendants are very difficult to kill. His creating soul heavenly cauldron has sealed the souls of a few divine sun descendants. Until now, he has not thought of a way to completely destroy those souls. Xiao Yuanmei also knows that Qin Yun's pressure is not small. She said with gentle smile, "Brother, don't feel too much pressure. Take your time. Wait for me to come out of the outer region. I will think of a way to thoroughly exterminate the divine sun descendants with you. I believe you will succeed." Xiao Yuanmei is not blindly trusting Qin Yun. Rather, she has been following Qin Yun for so many years. She knows that with Qin Yun's perception, he can always accomplish things that others think are impossible. For example, when creating inscription spirits, she and Qin Yun can create many rare inscription spirits. They can even trigger heavenly tribulation. "All right, I will wait for you to come out. With the help of smart Yuanmei, I will surely be able to succeed even more smoothly," Qin Yun said with a smile. Xiao Yuanmei is very happy to be able to talk with Qin Yun. She very quickly finished refining the Divine King Heavenly Seal and sent it to Qin Yun. After Qin Yun received the Divine King Heavenly Seal, he sensed that the divine power released by the Heavenly Seal is much stronger than before. Refining the Divine King Heavenly Seal inside the inner core is very useful. Divine King Heavenly Seal is nearing completion. Xiao Yuanmei said, "Divine King Heavenly Seal needs this kind of method to become complete. I didn't know about it before." Qin Yun feels that this is very mystical. He said with a smile, "Who made the rule that it needs to be completed in this way? Heavenly rule, Tao tradition? Of course not. Divine King Heavenly Seal changes according to Divine Desolate and Myriad Worlds Divine Sunday. If you can push the Divine King Heavenly Seal to change, you will be the true master of the Heavenly Seal. Nobody can take it away from you." Xiao Yuanmei said. Qin Yun stored the Divine King Heavenly Seal. Now he is even less afraid of Heavenly Venerables, because the Divine King Heavenly Seal does not belong to Heavenly Venerables. "Brother, I will send you out." Although Xiao Yuanmei is very reluctant to part with Qin Yun, it is not appropriate to leave him here. Moreover, she still needs to cultivate in peace. Just as Xiao Yuanmei was about to send Qin Yun out, several powerful auras suddenly rushed over. "Sun Dragon is here." Qin Yun's heart trembled. Xiao Yuanmei also yelled in alarm. "Why did you come back?" After these few middle-aged men suddenly appeared, They surrounded Qin Yun in the middle. The scorching aura from their bodies brought Qin Yun a great deal of pressure. Divine Daughter, is this the person chosen by Divine Son? One middle-aged man stared at Qin Yun. His gaze is filled with sharp aura. Yes, yes, yes. He has the Divine King Heavenly Seal. Don't make things difficult for him, Xiao Yuanmei hastily said. Divine Daughter, it seems like you approve of him? Another middle-aged man said. Of course I approve of him. Could it be that you don't approve of him? Xiao Yuanmei said. The middle-aged man is the most tall and sturdy. His aura is also the strongest. He released divine power and enveloped Qin Yun's body, causing him to feel a tearing pain. This middle-aged man is a divine heaven monarch. I, Sun Dragon Lingyu, believe that he is not suitable. That middle-aged man stared at Qin Yun. His eyes are filled with arrogance. Sun Dragon's surname is 2 characters. Surname is Yonglong. This Yonglong Lingyu seems to have some status. After all, he is a divine heaven monarch. The other 4 middle-aged men also have the same expression, because in their eyes, Qin Yun is just a human and his cultivation is so low, yet Myriad Realms' Divine Son has placed such high hopes on him. Their Sun Dragon race is very clear about the significance of the Divine King Heavenly Seal. In the future, it will be able to summon all kinds of powerful races within the 9 suns. It doesn't matter if you approve or not. The Divine King Heavenly Seal is in his hands. Moreover, the Divine King Heavenly Seal is also growing and evolving. Because of him, Xiao Yuanmei's voice became somewhat cold. If you want to make things difficult for him, then don't blame me for being impolite. Divine Daughter, we won't make things difficult for him. We just don't accept it. Yonglong Ling, you said. I express my opinion of him. Could it be that I am not allowed to do so? Qin Yun now knows that this group of sun dragons can easily cause conflict and conflict. My current cultivation is indeed inferior to yours. If you don't approve of me, then I have nothing to say, Qin Yun said with a smile. However, I am not as weak as you think. Oh. You want to fight me? Yonglong Lingyu laughed and said, All right, let's fight. I love fighting the most. I can't beat you. Qin Yun spread his hands and said with a smile, My cultivation is right there. I am only a sacred god, and you are a divine heavenly lord. There is still a Tao god realm between us. The disparity is too big. How about this? I will only use my Tao image to fight you. How about it? Yonglong Lingyu spoke. A large sacred tribulation gate suddenly appeared behind him. The gate frame of his sacred tribulation gate is carved with a golden red flame dragon. The entire gate is filled with majestic atmosphere. Dragon power is soaring to the sky. It is very shocking. This Yonglong Lingyu also has a sacred tribulation gate. The gate opened and a furious, fiery red dragon appeared. The dragon flew out and roared a few times. Its aura is very scary. I don't need you to defeat my dragon Tao image. I just need you to hold on for an hour. Yonglong Lingyu said with a smile. So long as you can hold on for an hour, it will be considered your victory. Moreover, I will give you a generous gift. Xiao Yuanmei said in low voice. Brother, don't fight him. He is a divine heavenly lord. Even if he only uses his Tao image, he will be stronger than you. Divine Daughter, rest assured, I will not harm him. Yonglong Lingyu looked at Qin Yun. His eyes are filled with fanatical battle intent. He said with a smile, I just want to see how outstanding the person chosen by Divine Son is. Since Divine Son thinks so highly of him, he must have some skill. Just as Yonglong Lingyu finished speaking, a large shadow suddenly appeared behind Qin Yun. A sacred tribulation gate appeared. This sacred tribulation gate is not as magnificent as Yonglong Lingyu's. Its aura is also not strong, but it is very big. Yonglong Lingyu's is at most 100 feet tall, but Qin Yun's is over 1,000 feet tall. Sometimes big is also a kind of imposing manner. In terms of size, Qin Yun's sacred tribulation gate is stronger than Yonglong Lingyu's. Seeing Qin Yun's sacred tribulation gate, Yonglong Lingyu's pupils slightly shrank. Then he laughed heartily. Good. You really have some skill? Let me see what is inside your sacred tribulation gate. After Qin Yun's sacred tribulation gate opened, a dragon roar shook the sky. A huge golden dragon, bringing with it an arrogant aura that disdains the heaven and earth, roared and rushed out of the sacred tribulation gate. This is Qin Yun's divine dragon Tao image. Divine dragon Tao image is still a great heavenly Tao image. It has not evolved into a sacred heavenly Tao image. Otherwise, it would be even stronger than it is now. This dragon has an aura that disdains the 9 heavens. Chapter 24-26. Qin Yun has been in contact with many dragon race. He knows that they are very arrogant. If he wants these formidable dragons to lower their arrogant heads, he must defeat them fair and square. Seeing Qin Yun's divine dragon Tao image, those few middle-aged men are secretly apprehensive. They did not expect a human to be able to cultivate this kind of divine dragon Tao image. Qin Yun's divine dragon Tao image is not weak, it is also very pure. Especially that arrogant power containing heavenly might, it caused those sun dragons to feel incredulous. They themselves are very formidable dragons. They are very clear that it is very difficult for a human to cultivate a powerful dragon Tao image. On top of that, even if a human cultivates a divine dragon Tao image, even if it is strong enough, it is not pure enough. It lacks the innate arrogant power of a dragon. Qin Yun's divine dragon Tao image not only has dragon power, it is also very different from others. The arrogant power contains heavenly might. In comparison, Qin Yun's divine dragon Tao image's aura is not any weaker than Sun Dragon Lingyu's. Yanglong Lingyu said with a serious expression, "Since you want to use the Dragon Tao avatar to fight, it's up to you. But I have to warn you, during the fight, there will definitely be many sudden changes. Your Tao avatar might be destroyed. Your Dragon Tao image is very good. You must have spent a lot of effort to cultivate it. If it is destroyed, it will be very difficult to cultivate it again." One middle-aged man reminded Qin Yun. They can see that Qin Yun's Dragon Tao image is still very young. It has not matured into sacred heavenly Tao image. It is not very strong, but it has great potential. "My Tao image needs to grow. This is a chance to grow," Qin Yun said with smile. "Only by fighting with experts can it grow even faster." Qin Yun is just looking for an opportunity to temper his Tao image. For example, this is a very good opportunity. At this time, powerful dragon power suddenly rushed over from all direction. A large number of sun dragons are rushing over. The sudden appearance of 2 sacred tribulation gates and the appearance of Dragon Tao image is not small at all. It has already alarmed the nearby sun dragons. On the ground, the sacred tribulation gate behind Qin Yun is wide open. Half of a dragon's body is coming out. The dragon tail and 2 dragon claws are still inside the gate. Sun Dragon Lingyu's Dragon Tao image is completely out. His Dragon Tao image is fiery red. His body is releasing a scorching and arrogant power energy wave from time to time. Qin Yun's Dragon Tao image is golden. The dazzling golden dragon head is even more shocking. Its might is even stronger. The other sun dragons that rushed over all looked very young. They were in human form, but the dragon aura on their bodies was not weak at all. Qin Yun's gaze swept over several hundred people. There are only a few dozen middle-aged people. There are more than 100 young girls among them are very young. They are young sun dragons. The sun dragon race was still very young. The strongest should be those middle-aged ones. The Yun's King Yang dragon races battle. R. The clan sect King Yun's clan clans with the clan's Yun spirit. Originally, they wanted to ridicule Qin Yun, but after seeing how domineering Qin Yun's divine Dragon Tao image is, they can only say that Qin Yun is too conceited. Even Xiao Yuanmei feels that Qin Yun is conceited, because Qin Yun's divine Dragon Tao image is not even a sacred heavenly Tao image, yet he wants to fight against divine Heaven Monarch's Tao image. Not whoever has a bigger Tao image will be the strongest. The main thing is the divine power released by the Tao image. A middle-aged woman said, "Elder Lingyu's Fire Dragon Tao image is a Tao image cultivated by divine Heaven Monarch. That human's Tao image is only a great heavenly Tao image. Not even a sacred heavenly Tao image. How long can he last in front of Elder Ling Yu's Dragon Tao image? Elder Ling Yu said that as long as he can hold on for an hour, he will win. That human has divine King Heavenly Seal. He looks very weak. Why did Divine Sun choose him? A young girl said in low voice. Indeed, our Sun Dragon race has so many experts. Any one of them can easily beat up that human. Why did Myriad Realms' Divine Sun choose him? A young man beside the young girl also has expression of dissatisfaction. Maybe even we could defeat that guy. The young girl lightly groaned and said. At this time, a middle-aged man hit their heads and said in low voice, that human has 10 Tao images. Moreover, he is only sacred God. You're also sacred God, but do you have his aura? Do you dare to face Elder Ling Yu? Those young men don't dare to say anything else. They indeed don't have that kind of aura. If they were standing in front of Yanglong Ling Yu, they might be so scared that their legs would go soft. Not only Qin Yun's legs did not go soft, he is also proudly standing there with a calm expression and a smile on his face. Not to mention those young men and girls, even if it is a Sun Dragon race youth, they might not be able to keep calm in this kind of situation, let alone smile. Since you are using Dragon Tao image to fight me, I will not take advantage of you. As long as you can hold on for half an hour, even if I win, I, Yanglong Ling Yu, will submit to you. Yanglong Ling Yu shouted. Come, I will let you attack first. Qin Yun's eyes suddenly flashed and turned light blue. He opened his heavenly eye and Imperial Heaven heart crazily throbbed. In just a blink of an eye, he entered Imperial Heaven state. After entering Imperial Heaven state, his Imperial Heaven heart began to frantically revolve, drawing the power of other Tao images and gathering it into the Imperial Heaven heart. Then, through the Xian divine veins, it was transported to the divine Dragon Tao image's sacred tribulation gate. Qin Yun is currently using all his strength to activate the divine Dragon Tao image. Moreover, he has entered Imperial Heaven state. His divine Dragon Tao image is formed from the heavenly Tao's arrogant force. Following a roar, the divine Dragon Tao image's scales flickered with blue light. Under the dazzling golden scales, many blue light rays gushed out, causing the huge divine Dragon Tao image to suddenly turn golden blue. What is even more terrifying is that a very terrifying aura surged out. This kind of aura is as if it can control the heaven and earth. This sudden change caused Yanglong Ling Yu to feel an indescribable pressure. Roar! Qin Yun's divine Dragon Tao image suddenly danced. It nimbly leaped over like a thunder and lightning bolt. It attacked Yanglong Ling Yu. Yanglong Ling Yu's Dragon Tao image released a fierce fiery red energy flame. It formed a barrier to block Qin Yun's Berserk Dragon Tao image. Qin Yun's Dragon Tao image collided head-on. It created a vast and mighty energy wave, causing the surrounding people to cry out in alarm. Boom! An incomparably loud vibration sound echoed. Although Yanglong Ling Yu's Dragon Tao image has a barrier, it was smashed head-on, and the dragon head was hit by Qin Yun's Dragon Tao image. The two dragon heads collided, and Yanglong Ling Yu's Dragon Tao image was actually sent flying. One must know that Qin Yun's Dragon Tao image is twice as big as Yanglong Ling Yu's. From this, it can be seen that Qin Yun's Dragon Tao image is not as weak as everyone thinks. This is not even the sacred heavenly Tao image, yet it has this kind of power. This caused the group of sun dragons to be shocked. Their faces are filled with disbelief. Fine. Qin Yun promptly controlled his divine Dragon Tao image and bound the fire dragon that was sent flying. A very frightening scene suddenly appeared. Many black runes appeared on the surface of Qin Yun's divine Dragon Tao image. These runes are very black. They look like bottomless abyss. Although many black runes appeared on the golden blue dragon body, they are not at all out of harmony. These black runes seem to be perfectly fused with the golden blue dragon body, as if they were innately there. These black runes are the Nether Sun Totem. Back when it was only the heavenly Tao Proud Force, it already had the Nether Sun Totem. Now that it has become the divine Dragon Tao image, the Nether Sun Totem is still there. Moreover, the Nether Sun totem has been evolving for a very long time. The Nether Sun totem that appeared on the surface of the Divine Dragon Dao image is most likely the Nether Sun Dragon totem. This kind of totem has never appeared before. It is because Qin Yun has the Nether Sun. Then he perfectly fused the Nether Sun and the Divine Dragon Dao image, giving birth to the totem. Sometimes a small Nether Sun can devour a huge Divine Sun that is several hundred times bigger than it. Many ancient texts and records have concluded that Nether Sun has the ability to swallow an elephant. Qin Yun's Divine Dragon Dao image wrapped around Yang Longling's fire dragon and began devouring it. It is not completely devouring the fire dragon. It is only devouring the divine power released by the fire dragon, making it unable to attack. The fire dragon also doesn't have enough divine power to struggle free. In this way, not to mention an hour, even 20 hours wouldn't be a problem. Of course, if Qin Yun is serious, he can completely devour the fire dragon. Xiao Yueme finally relaxed and said indifferently, "Elder Lingyu, do you think it is necessary to continue fighting?" "I concede." Yang Longling suddenly shouted these 3 words in a very loud voice. Qin Yun promptly took back the Divine Dragon Dao image and said, "I think we are even. If we continue to fight like this, Elder Lingyu will use even stronger divine power. I might not be able to hold on. Your Dao image is not even a sacred heavenly Dao image, but it was able to suppress me from the very beginning. I wholeheartedly accept my loss." Yang Longling cupped his fists towards Qin Yun and said with straightforward smile, "As expected of the person chosen by Divine Sun, you are indeed stronger than a boorish fellow like me." The group of sun dragons watching from the distance also burst into an uproar. Many youngsters believe that Yang Longling should not concede. He should continue fighting. As long as he uses his strongest divine power, he will be able to break free. But Yang Longling's thinking is different from them. Yang Longling is very clear that Qin Yun was being lenient earlier, otherwise his fire dragon would have been sucked dry without any chance to struggle. Therefore, he can see Qin Yun's potential. This is only a great heavenly Dao image divine dragon, and it already has this level of strength. If it becomes a sacred heavenly Dao image, it will definitely be even stronger. If Qin Yun becomes a divine heavenly monarch, that kind of strength is terrifying just thinking about it. Xiao Yueme did not expect Qin Yun to have this kind of move. She and Qin Yun are very familiar with each other, but she still underestimated Qin Yun's strength. At the same time, she is secretly apprehensive of Qin Yun's strength. Maybe he is still hiding other dreadful big moves. Chapter 24-27. Qin Yun and Yang Longling put away their sacred tribulation gate, and the scene became calm again. Because Qin Yun suddenly mentioned the Divine Sun descendants, the atmosphere became somewhat gloomy. Qin Yun originally thought that with the Sun Dragon race's overall strength, even if they could not destroy the Divine Sun descendants, they would still be able to suppress them. Now, seeing the reaction of the Sun Dragons, Qin Yun knows that the Divine Sun descendants are much stronger than he imagined. "Little brother Qin, you don't know how strong the Divine Sun descendants are? In short, with our Sun Dragon race's current strength, we are not a match for those Divine Sun descendants." Yang Longling said, "We also rely on Divine Sun's power to barely resist them. Your Sun Dragon race is still a new race. It is normal that you are no match for the Divine Sun descendants." Qin Yun said, "I am the same. We all need a process of growth, so we need to work hard to increase our strength." Yang Longling nodded and said, "Little brother Qin, I said before that if you can defeat me, I will give you a gift. This is for you." He took out a fiery red pearl and handed it over to Qin Yun. "What is this?" Qin Yun did not take it and said, "If it's something too precious, I can't take it. Your Sun Dragon race needs resources to improve even more." Yang Longling patted Qin Yun's shoulder and said with a smile, "This is the Dragon God Spirit. It is useless to us, but it is useful to you. It can improve your Divine Dragon Dao image. I think you should have a way to use this Dragon God Spirit to strengthen your Divine Dragon Dao image." Qin Yin also took the dragon god spirit. Earlier, he saw that the eyes of many youngsters around him are filled with envy. It can be seen that this dragon god spirit is very useful. Isn't this too precious? Qin Yin held it in his hand and can feel that the dragon god spirit has a very powerful energy. It is an energy that is very helpful to the Tao image. This might allow him to cultivate the divine dragon Tao image into the sacred heavenly Tao image. Previously, because he devoured the 8 cauldron Tao image of that person from the 8 Tao clan, he evolved the divine cauldron Tao image. He didn't need to eat sacred Tao divine pill to advance, nor did he need to wait for an opportunity. We have some of these things, but not everyone can obtain them. Yang Long Ling, you swept a glance at the youths and said with a smile, "You brats, if you want to obtain the dragon divine soul, then work hard and perform well in the family competition. I will naturally reward you." Qin Yin understood. The dragon god spirit is used to motivate those youths. Let them obtain it through competition. This will make them work even harder to improve themselves. Many thanks, Elder Lingyu. Qin Yin immediately expressed his gratitude. Little brother Qin, you came from the god Wasteland, and we have never been to the god Wasteland before. Can you stay a little longer? Yang Long Lingyu laughed. Tell those youngsters about the situation of the god Wasteland. Of course, let's talk here, Qin Yin said with a smile. It was also at this time that the young sun dragons came over. They were filled with curiosity about the gods desolate. They didn't go to the gods desolate because there were many descendants of the divine sun outside. They needed to have the ability to resist the attacks of the descendants of the divine sun before they could leave the ancestral divine Sunday. After that, Qin Yin began to talk about the recent situation in the divine desolate, mainly about the other god worlds entering the divine desolate in the 9 heavens race. Qin Yin clearly told them who were the people who disturbed the order of the god desolate. In addition, Qin Yin also talked about the experience of the 9 desolate 9 suns in the divine desolate. These matters helped them understand how difficult it was to form the god desolate. After knowing many things about the god desolate, the young sun dragons all yearned for it. They all wanted to roam that vast world. Regarding the matters of the god desolate, even the elders like Yang Long Ling, you don't know much. Therefore, they listened very seriously and analyzed the situation of the god desolate. Little brother Qin, the divine universe heavenly dragon and divine universe ice dragon you're talking about, the overall strength of the dragon race of the god desolate should not be weak, right? Yang Long Ling, you asked. They are very concerned about the situation of the dragon race of the god desolate. Not bad. Their overall strength can be considered above average. Currently, divine universe heavenly dragon is mainly leading a team to exterminate the 9 heavens divine demons. I haven't contacted him for a long time. Qin Yin said, if there's a chance, I will gather with the dragon race of the god desolate and exchange pointers. Yang Long Ling nodded and said, my 9 heaven divine palace has a dragon palace. There are many dragons inside. My father was a fire dragon in his past life. Later, he reincarnated into a human and found his fire dragon true body. He can be considered a fire dragon, Qin Yin said with a smile. In that case, we can be considered to have some relationship. Yang Long Ling, you said with clear smile and patted Qin Yin's shoulder. Of course, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to cultivate divine dragon Tao image. Qin Yin laughed. Thinking about Qin Yin's divine dragon Tao image, all the youths present felt admiration from the bottom of their hearts. We will definitely arrive at the god desolate as soon as possible. Yang Long Ling, you said, we have the help of the divine sun here. We can grow up very quickly. Wait until our scale gradually increases. We will definitely go to the god desolate and maintain the order of the god desolate. To the sun dragon race, as long as they're not facing the descendants of the divine sun, they're not afraid of dealing with other races. After you come to the god desolate, I will let the dragon palace make arrangements for you. Remember to find me when the time comes. Qin Yin said with a smile. All right. Yang Long Ling nodded. Qin Yin has been staying here for a long time. After bidding farewell to Xiao Yuan Mei, he was sent out of the ancestral godson's core area. After coming out of the ancestral god sun, Qin Yun looked at the huge divine sun and sighed endlessly in his heart. He finally saw the creatures inside the ancestral god sun's core area. They're a group of formidable sun dragons. If these sun dragons descend to the god desolate, they will surely become a powerful faction that can dominate a region. Qin Yun being able to establish good relations with them is also not bad. They'll be able to join forces in the future. There are too many evil factions in the god desolate, and they are all very strong. This is the root cause of the chaos in the god desolate. In the myriad realms divine palace that maintains the order of the god desolate is still very weak. Even if 9 Yang divine palace and divine moon clan join forces, they still won't be able to fight against so many divine worlds. Furthermore, the descendants of the divine sun are a very big potential threat. Qin Yun entered the heaven-leaping shuttle to return to the god desolate. He looked at the divine moon that is emitting blue light. It is a very mysterious existence. Xiao Yueme said before that during the process of the divine moon's transformation, it might give birth to powerful creatures. If their divine moon clan and Guanghan Palace want to return to the divine moon, they will have to face many difficulties. They will have to repel a large number of enemies, and they won't even be able to dominate the entire god desolate. My mother should have already recovered. It's just that father's 9 heaven law curse has not been removed. Next, Qin Yun will think of a way to kill divine King Jiangxian. Let's see if this grandson Jiang Daliang can succeed or not. Once divine King Jiangxian dies, Qinlong's 9 heaven law curse will also be removed. Xiao Yun, the Heavenly Dao pawn shop's boss meeting, is also very important. You must prepare well. Ling Yuner said. Boss Dongfang came to find him and said that after 50 days, there will be a Heavenly Dao pawn shop's boss meeting. The few bosses will gather inside the Heavenly Dao pawn shop to discuss the distribution of power. I will prepare well. Qin Yun took out the Dragon God Spirit from the heaven-leaping shuttle. He placed the Dragon God Spirit into the Tribulation Gate, where the Divine Dragon Dao image is located. Because the Divine Dragon Dao image has the Nether Sun totem, it has a certain amount of devouring power. Devouring and fusing with the Dragon God Spirit is not a problem. Originally, I planned to cultivate the Nether Sun Dao image, but I didn't expect that I would have to cultivate the Divine Dragon Dao image. Qin Yun shook his head and laughed. This matter is not the same as planned. His evolution of the Divine Cauldron Dao image into the sacred Heavenly Dao image was also outside of his plan. This is after all your Dao image. The process of growth is also full of opportunities. Ling Yun said with charming smile. Qin Yun began cultivating the Divine Dragon Dao image inside the heaven-leaping shuttle. After flying for a few days, Qin Yun landed on the ground and cultivated the Divine Dragon Dao image into the sacred Heavenly Dao image. The Divine Dragon Dao image has become the sacred Heavenly Dao image. However, Qin Yun has not released it yet. In short, it will definitely be very strong. Now he has 5 sacred Heavenly Dao images. Ling Yun Dao image, Divine Hammer Dao image, Heavenly Lion Dao image, Divine Cauldron Dao image, and Divine Dragon Dao image. The formation of these 5 sacred Heavenly Dao images will allow him to be more relaxed when facing Dao God Realm experts. Finally return to the ground. Although Qin Yun has not been gone for too long, many things have happened recently. Most of the people from other God Realms are very rampant, oppressing native humans everywhere, following 9 Heavens Demon race and 9 Heavens Divine race to do evil everywhere. The sovereigns of various heavens are now hegemons of a region, establishing their own divine nation and recruiting a large number of experts. The sovereigns of various heavens also declare that the entire divine desolate belongs to the divine nation, including the divine sun and divine moon in the sky. He also regarded the 9 Yang divine palace inside the Sword Forest Desert as an enemy of the divine nation. Apart from this, the 9 Yang royal family is also their target of plundering and killing. The strange thing is that the sovereigns of various heavens did not dare to say anything to the divine son of the myriad realms. Qin Yun is now in contact with a nameless old man to understand the recent situation. Divine nation? These sovereigns of various heavens are truly arrogant. Qin Yun said with low groan. Palace King. That guy also said, some heavenly rule Tao tradition wrote that Divine Moon Clan's empress will become his empress, the nameless old man said in low voice. He also said, Divine Moon Clan is his harem. Bullshit, Qin Yun cursed in a low voice. The heavenly rule Tao tradition is a book. I don't know how the Myriad Realms Divine Palace obtained it. I took a few glances. It indeed wrote that Divine Moon Clan's empress is the successor of the heavenly Tao, the partner of the person with the 10 Tao images. The nameless old man said again, Palace King, many things recorded in the heavenly rule Tao tradition have finally become true. Yu Shangyun is already Qin Yun's woman. Qin Yun naturally will not tell the nameless old man about this matter. Qin Yun previously refined many sacred Tao divine pills. This time, when he returned, he will follow Yu Shangyun's instructions to find her to cultivate the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra and cultivate a sacred heavenly Tao image. Chapter 24-28. Of course, Qin Yun knows that heavenly sovereigns are very strong, but he believes that compared to divine sun descendants, they are easier to deal with. Divine sun descendants are very difficult to kill. They are very troublesome and make people have no way to deal with them. Nameless old man, help me find Jiang Zhouchuan and his son Jiang Daliang. I need to find them. If you can contact them, tell me immediately. I will go find them as soon as possible. Qin Yun said, Jiang Zhouchuan and Jiang Daliang are Divine King Jiangxian's son and grandson. Their relationship with Divine King Jiangxian is not good, but Qin Yun plans to join hands with them to set up a trap to kill Divine King Jiangxian. He had already arranged for Jiang Daliang before. He doesn't know how Jiang Daliang is doing now. It's very easy to find them. Leave it to me. I will find them as soon as possible. Palace King, you must be careful of that heavenly sovereigns. That guy can't wait to kill you. The old man said, I was chased by him once before, but didn't I come out fine in the end? He can't do anything to me. Qin Yun said with smile. This guy is very strong, but he is not invincible. That's good, the old man said. After Qin Yun and the old man ended their conversation, he quickly returned to the Sword Forest Desert. Just as he was about to return to the 9 Yang Divine Palace, the Divine King Heavenly Seal suddenly made a strong movement. He took out the Divine King Heavenly Seal from both sides. Through the Divine King Heavenly Seal, he can sense that there are other divine position gods nearby, and they are in danger. This is a signal for help. Qin Yun has the Divine King Heavenly Seal. Helping other divine position gods is also his responsibility, so he immediately rushed over. Has the Myriad Realms Divine Palace begun to move? Qin Yun thought. He didn't ask the old man about the Myriad Realms Divine Palace. Qin Yun believes that the Myriad Realms Divine Palace is still in the growth stage. Although many divine position gods are very powerful, they are still lacking when facing other powerful races or expert from other god realm. After divine position gods have enough strength, they will begin to maintain the order of the Divine Desolate. Through the Divine King Heavenly Seal, Qin Yun can sense whether the nearby divine throne gods are in danger or not. He can also know where the surrounding divine throne gods are. I wonder what kind of god it is. Qin Yun quickly rushed over. He only knows that there is a divine position nearby, but he doesn't know what kind of divine position it is. The star god was still in Qin Yun's 9 Yang divine spirit. It seemed to be evolving together with the Star Vault divine mirror. Not only could she strengthen the Star Dome divine mirror, but she could also strengthen herself along with the Star Dome divine mirror, but would take a long time. After flying for more than an hour, Qin Yun suddenly sensed the aura of a 9 heavens divine demon. It's the 9 heavens divine demons causing trouble. Qin Yun is rather surprised because the gods of the Myriad Realms Divine Court are fighting with the 9 heavens divine demons. This meant that the Divine Court of the Myriad Worlds had already formed a certain amount of combat power, and had the strength to fight against the 9 heavens divine beasts. Are there a lot of them? Ling Yin'er asked. If there are a lot of 9 heavens divine demon, I can come out and help. Not for now. Qin Yun could detect quite a number of 9 heavens divine demons, but from their auras, they were not too strong. There were sacred gods and Tao gods, but there were only a few 9 heavens divine demons at that level. There is only one Tao God realm divine demon. He should be the leader. The rest are all sacred God realm. In Qin Yun's eyes, Tao God realm divine demons are very easy to deal with, so there is no need for Ling Yin'er to take action. After getting close to the battlefield, Qin Yun sensed a very familiar ice and cold power. The front has turned into a world of ice and snow. A violent snowstorm is blowing over. This is Sister Rujing. Qin Yun promptly took out Xian Rujing's soul-chasing talisman. It is indeed ice and snow goddess fighting. Apart from Xian Rujing's aura, ice spirits and snow fairies have also come out to fight. Knowing that Xian Rujing is ahead, Qin Yun immediately used light transformation sacred pupil and rushed towards the center of the battlefield. Just as he rushed over, he saw Xian Rujing fighting with a man with long flowing silver hair. Xian Rujing is wearing snow-white clothes. Her cold and elegant face is filled with killing intent. There's a wine pot hanging on her waist. Apparently she has been drinking all this time. Ice and snow fairies are holding divine swords that look like ice and snow fairies. They are releasing very strong ice and snow divine power to freeze the surrounding 9 heavens divine demons. There are dozens of 9 heavens divine demons. All of them are men with silver hair. They are high-level 9 heavens divine demons. The 9 heavens divine demon fighting against Xian Rujing is Tao God realm. Moreover, there are a few other sacred God realm experts attacking Xian Rujing from time to time. Xian Rujing's body is covered by a layer of ice and snow goddess totem. A layer of ice and snow goddess totem can protect her. Ice and snow goddess. You are truly an exceptional beauty. The leader of the 9 heavens divine demons said with evil smile, such a beauty will soon fall into my evil fox's hands. Ha ha ha. Evil fox, you have met me. Only death awaits you. Xian Rujing shouted in cold voice. Her killing intent is bone-piercing cold. She formed hand seals, and suddenly ice and thunder dropped down from the sky, crazily attacking all around. Xian Rujing has mastered Heavenly Tribulation Divine ability as well as Heavenly Space Frost Curse. Her strength is not weak at all, especially during the time she was in seclusion inside the Myriad Worlds Divine Palace. Her strength advanced by leaps and bounds. Under Bai Suxin's guidance, her understanding of Heavenly Space Frost Curse increased by a lot. Now she can control very strong Heavenly Space Ice and Snow Divine Power. You can't kill me. Evil Fox laughed loudly and said, no matter what, I am still the son of Heavenly Demon Divine King. Even if you are a formidable ice and snow goddess, you still can't do anything to me. Evil Fox's body is now sealed in ice. He fell on the ground like an ice sculpture. However, he can still condense his mental power into sound and let it out. He proudly laughed wildly and said, Beauty, you can continue. I want to see how strong you can be. I like powerful women like you the most. There are dozens of 9 heavens divine demons here. Their bloodline is very high. Evil Fox is the son of Heavenly Demon Divine King. His subordinates are naturally not weak, but now they are all frozen into ice sculptures. Xian Rujing looked at the frozen evil fox in front of her and summoned ice spirits and snow spirits back into her body. Evil Fox, I can't kill you, but my man can. Xian Rujing knows that Qin Yun has arrived. A sweet smile appeared on her ice-cold face. You actually have a man? Who is he? I will torture him like a dead dog in front of you. Evil Fox's furious voice came out. He is extremely jealous, especially when he saw Xian Rujing's sweet smile. Xian Rujing has always been ice, cold, but when she talks about her man, her face is filled with sweetness. From this, it can be seen how good her relationship with her man is. Evil Fox's body is trembling. He is releasing bursts of blue light rays. He wants to struggle free from the layer of ice on his body. Xian Rujing strengthened the layer of ice, making it so that even if Evil Fox releases all of his divine power, he would not be able to break it. A light beam suddenly shot over. Qin Yun, using transformation light, sacred pupil, has arrived. After Qin Yun arrived, he did not say anything. He took out the blue chain from his neck and inserted it into the Evil Fox's heart. After the heaven-locking chain entered the Evil Fox's heart, it quickly spread inside his body and became longer. The chain directly drilled into his bones. It is like tree roots, twisting and turning inside the Evil Fox's body, firmly binding his body. Xian Rujing saw Qin Yun arrive and stopped maintaining the layer of ice. Bang! The ice on the Evil Fox's body suddenly shattered. Evil Fox's body is in endless pain because Qin Yun is pouring in suffering divine ability power. You are Snow Goddess Man? Who are you? Evil Fox endured the pain, gritted his teeth, and said, "You can't kill me." Xiao Yun. Xian Rujing arrived behind Qin Yun and hugged him from behind. She softly yelled, "I missed you." Evil Fox is about to explode in anger. He is in unbearable pain, and Xian Rujing is hugging Qin Yun, showing affection in front of him. "Sister Rujing, I also missed you. Wait for me to kill this guy first." Qin Yun laughed and said, "Kill me? Who do you think you are?" Evil Fox is doing his best to break the heaven-locking chain. Heaven-locking chain is specialized in restraining 9 heavens divine demons and 9 heavens divine race people. Is Long Peng your elder brother or younger brother? He and Jiang Zhenchuan were both killed by me. Qin Yun said with smile. You killed them? You. Could it be that you are? Evil Fox was very confident that he can't die, but he suddenly thought of something. Indeed, I am Qin Yun. Qin Yun said with smile. Heavenly Demon Divine King has so many sons, none of them can fight. While Qin Yun is speaking, a black nether sun totem appeared on the heaven-locking chain. The heaven-locking chain inside Evil Fox's body suddenly produced a devouring power. Evil Fox let out a miserable scream. His body suddenly shriveled up and then shattered. Qin Yun released the divine tribulation gate. The nether sun Dao inside the gate is like a huge Taotai beast. It completely devoured those frozen 9 heavens divine demons. These guys are so weak. Xian Rujing hugged Qin Yun's arm, leaned on him, and said with gentle smile, "My Xiao Yun is very strong." Sister Rujing, how come you are here? Qin Yun hugged Xian Rujing's slender waist and deeply breathed in the cold and intoxicating body fragrance of this beauty. Those guys are killing and eating people everywhere. I came to exterminate them. Xian Rujing's beautiful and charming eyes are filled with tender feelings as she looked at Qin Yun with deep feeling. When Qin Yun saw how seductive the beauty was, he could not help but hug her tightly before kissing her red lips. Xiao Yun, I am very worried that something bad will happen to you. Xian Rujing pulled Qin Yun's hand and said in low voice, I have seen that heavenly law Dao tradition. Don't believe that thing. Qin Yun said with smile, Let's go. I want to return to 9 Sun Divine Palace. Are you coming with me? I still have matters to attend to. There is a city ahead. There might be 9 heavens divine demons hiding inside. I want to exterminate those 9 heavens divine demons. Xian Rujing said, Then I will go with you. Qin Yun pulled her hand and released Heaven Leaping Shuttle. Xian Rujing is Ice and Snow Goddess. She has a divine position, so she also has her own mission. I saved a group of people before. They should be rushing towards that city now. Xian Rujing lightly sighed and said, The people I saved belong to a special race. Therefore, they are easily targeted by man-eating demons. Chapter 24-29. As soon as Qin Yun heard about Cat Race, he realized that it is a new powerful race. Cat God position? I don't think there was such a God position before. Qin Yun said in shock. Don't tell me it is a new God position. It is a new God position. That God position was sent by Heaven Creation Divine Palace. Xian Rujing said. We also found it strange that there is a new god position. It is Heaven Creation Divine Palace again. Heaven Creation Divine Palace is very mysterious. Qin Yun is a tool. This matter is also related to Heaven Creation Divine Palace. Cat God is in charge of cat-type beasts and helps them grow. I specialize in helping these beasts grow, and I mainly help ice and snow-type creatures. Xian Rujing said. God position gods all have their own responsibilities. Qin Yun nodded and said, Sister Rujing, roughly what kind of ice and snow-type creatures are there? I know ice and snow fairy race, snow demon race, ice man race. They are mainly distributed in Divine Desolate's North Xian cold domain. Big Brother Space sent me there. That is the northernmost region of Divine Desolate. Xian Rujing said. Qin Yun doesn't know the distribution of Divine Desolate's regions. After hearing about North Xian cold domain, he doubtfully said, North Xian cold domain is northernmost. Could it be that Divine Desolate has stopped expanding? Xian Rujing shook her head and said, It has not stopped. The edge of Divine Desolate has already solidified, but the center is still expanding. Qin Yun is even more shocked. When Divine Desolate is expanding, it is not the edge that is expanding. Rather, the center is expanding. Xiao Yun, who doesn't know the situation of Divine Desolate's center? I heard that it is a piece of primal chaos filled with all kinds of dangers. Xian Rujing is sitting on the same chair as Qin Yun inside the heaven-leaping shuttle. Qin Yun gently embraced Xian Rujing's slender waist and caressed her lily-white hands. He said with frown, I did not expect so many things to happen while I was in Myriad Realm's Divine Sun. There are so many things, especially that bullshit Heavenly Venerable Emperor. He actually said that Sister Shang Yun is his Emperor-Empress. He even said that Divine Moon Race and Guanghan Palace's women are his harem. Xian Rujing very angrily said, Xiao Yun, you must exterminate this bastard. I must exterminate him. Sister Rujing, have you seen the Divine Moon Clan's emperor? Qin Yun asked. He also wanted to understand the situation of Yu Shang Yun's arrival. I have. I return to Guanghan Palace from time to time. Guanghan Palace is Divine Moon Clan's main palace. Sister Shang Yun lives in Guanghan Palace. Xian Rujing said with smile, Xiao Yun, Sister Shang Yun is very beautiful. Have you seen her? I saw her a few times, but she always wore a helmet and armor. Qin Yun said. The Moon Palace was also very safe in the Sword Forest Mountain Desert. Oh, that's right, Xiao Yun. I met your mother. Madame Qin is now very well. The 9 heaven law curse on her body has already been removed. Xian Rujing said. That's good. Qin Yun also wants to quickly go back and see his mother. But Xian Rujing hesitated. What happened? Qin Yun looked at Xian Rujing, gently caressed her jade-like face, and said with smile, Sister Rujing, don't hide things from me. Madame Qin has left with your father, Qin Long. I don't know where they are going, because she is your mother, no one can stop her decision. Xian Rujing lightly bit her lips and said in low voice, Xiao Yun, don't blame little palace spirit and white manager. They can only listen to Madame Qin. Qin Yun's expression changed. Qin Long still has the 9 heaven law curse on his body, but his mother has taken him to an unknown place. Did she not say where they are going? Qin Yun hastily asked. She said she did, but none of us know where it is. She said she was going somewhere, and as long as they could get there, you'd be fine. Madame Qin said that if she doesn't take your father to that place, you will die. Xian Rujing lightly sighed and shook her head. She also doesn't understand what is going on. Qin Yun sank into contemplation. He knows that his mother has experienced many things. She is not someone who would act recklessly. Moreover, his mother worked in Heavenly Law Pawn Shop. She must have touched upon many core secrets. Therefore, she knows a lot about his past life and past life. Moreover, the secret inside Qin Yun's 9-Sun Divine Soul is related to MOG. MOG obtained 9-Sun Divine Soul for a period of time and took many things from Heavenly Law Pawn Shop and stuffed them inside. Qin Yun's 9-Sun Divine Soul has not been completely opened. There are still 8th and 9th pearls which are very difficult to open. When he opened seventh pearl, he obtained heavenly imperial heart. And the pill transformation, heavenly cauldron, and spirit creation, heavenly cauldron, are very formidable divine tools. They could be said to be one of a kind. The things inside eighth and ninth pearls must be very dreadful. I'll have to ask Emoji. Qin found out that Emoji is already dead, but she has been reborn in 9 Netherrealm. His foster father, the Netherworld Great Emperor, is now working in Heavenly Law Pawn Shop. Moreover, he is his subordinate and was once the overlord of 9 Netherrealm. He should be able to find Emoji with his help. Xiaoyun, I contacted Sister Kira before. She said that Madame Qin should go. There will be no problem. Xian Rujing said. Sister Kiru still hasn't returned? Qin misses Xia Kiru very much. She said that she is inside Heavenly Divine Moon. She is always mysterious. Xian Rujing shook her head. Qin is already used to Xia Kiru's way of doing things. She must have something more important to do, and she can't say it out loud. No matter what, I must get rid of Divine Monarch Jiang Xian. This Divine Monarch Jiang Xian attacked my parents. He must know some secret, Qin said. If Qin parents do not go to that mysterious place, then Qin will most likely be in danger. Divine Monarch Jiang Xian used 9 Heaven Law Curse on Qin parents to prevent them from going to that mysterious place. Then Qin will be done for. Qin carefully thought about it. He feels that behind Divine Monarch Jiang Xian, there must be some mysterious and formidable existence colluding with him. Qin thought about it again and again. He believes that if he wants to find the secret, there are 4 ways. Heaven Creation Divine Palace, Mysterious Ninth Desolate Ancient Desolate, Emoji, and Heavenly Law Pawn Shop. Xiaoyun, don't think too much. Properly increase your strength. Sister Kiru said that they have already arranged everything. You don't need to worry too much. Xian Rujing said. Thank you all. Qin tightly hugged Xian Rujing's soft and fragrant body. His imagination is still running wild in his heart. After the heaven-leaping shuttle flew for 2 hours, a very large city appeared on the ground ahead. The walls of the city seemed to be built with many golden beads. It was very strange. What kind of city is this? Qin asked. I don't know. Cat race people said that they will enter this city. Xian Rujing shook her head and said in low voice, We must be careful. Qin and Xian Rujing walked out of the heaven-leaping shuttle, landed on the ground, and arrived in front of the city gate. The city wall is very awesome. Qin looked at the golden city wall and exclaimed in admiration. The golden pearls used to construct the city wall are very big. Each of them is several meters tall. There are many runes inside each pillar. Qin carefully looked and realized that the runes inside the pearls are all heavenly law divine runes. This must have been a legacy that was scattered all over the place after the Indigo Sky Dome exploded. Someone must have obtained the legacy within and created this city. After Blue Heavenly Cosmos exploded, many inheritances were left behind. Many races obtained them and became even stronger. After Qin and Xian Rujing entered the city gate, it is unexpectedly completely empty inside. Although there are many houses and many voices coming from inside, there is no one. It is broad daylight. There are 3 myriad worlds, divine suns in the sky, shining with intense light, but Qin has a kind of creepy feeling. He opened his heavenly eye to take a look, but he cannot see anything. He can hear voices, but he cannot see people. He cannot even sense soul fluctuation. Xiaoyun, don't tell me this is an illusion formation. Xian Rujing's face is covered with a white veil. Her brows are frowning. She is now very vigilant. It's not. Qin walked forward and said in low voice, There's a special race here. They should be invisible people. Invisible to the point that we cannot detect them using any method. We can only hear their voices. Indeed, we are invisible people. It is really rare that you're not scared. Many people come here and shout loudly in fear. Suddenly a voice arrived. Judging from the voice, it is an old man. Old senior. A group of people came here before. They have cat ears and cat tail. Did you see them? Qin Yin calmed down and asked with a smile. They are not good people, so we did not let them in. They are still loitering outside. The old man said, Not good people? Qin Yun's expression is filled with doubt. He looked at Xian Rujing and said, Cat race people are all evil. Xian Rujing is also filled with doubt. She shook her head. Cat race is a good race, but those people who came here before are not real cat race people. The transparent old man said, I understand. They are ninth heaven divine demons. They look like cat race. They are pretending to be cat race. Xian Rujing gnashed her teeth and furiously said, Real cat race people. Maybe they ate them. The transparent old man nodded. It should be so. Fortunately, we are transparent. They cannot eat us. I will go out and take a look. Qin Yun immediately walked towards the city gate. Xian Rujing is also following him. What makes Qin Yun feel somewhat strange is that he keeps feeling that someone is following him. These transparent people are very difficult to detect. Even if he wants to sense their souls, it is very difficult to sense them. Everything about them is transparent. Just as Qin Yun and Xian Rujing were about to step out of the city gate, a group of silver-haired people wearing blue armor suddenly appeared outside. Their ears look like cat ears. Moreover, they also have a tail behind them. Quickly get out of here, the master of this city. You are building a city on the territory of Heaven's divine nation. This city belongs to Heaven's divine nation. The city master must be appointed by Heaven's divine nation. That silver-haired youth's voice is very arrogant. They are clearly ninth heaven divine demons. It is very normal for them to join Heaven's sovereign divine nation. You two, quickly get out and salute. We are divine nation's holy warriors. Not saluting us after seeing us is a capital offense. That silver-haired youth pointed at Qin Yun and Xian Rujing and yelled. Qin Yun took off the heaven-locking chain from his neck. He now knows how rude and unreasonable Heaven's divine nation is. Chapter 24:30. When heavenly venerables build a divine nation, the people inside the divine nation must be rude and unreasonable. These 9 heavens divine demons are the same. Since heavenly venerables think that the entire heaven and earth belongs to them, they have an excuse to do whatever they want. Many natural races, even if they build their own cities, if they cannot resist the tyrants of heavenly divine nations, they can only submit and be oppressed, swallowed, and enslaved. The existence of heavenly divine nations has seriously damaged the order of heavenly divine desolate. They must be eradicated. The ones who will die are you. Xian Rujing looked at the group of 9 heavens divine demons and coldly shouted, If you have the guts, come out. The leader of the 9 heavens divine demons furiously yelled, All the races inside, quickly drive out those 2 humans. Otherwise we will break through the city and kill all of you. Qin Yun glanced at Xian Rujing, hinting her to prepare to attack. A thin layer of ice-cold energy mist suddenly appeared on Xian Rujing's body. She immediately entered battle mode. Let's go. While rushing out, Qin Yun's lightning lock's sacred pupil suddenly flickered. Countless frantic thunder and lightning flickered through his eye and transformed into lightning chains that enveloped the group of 9 heavens divine demons and tied them up. Xian Rujing followed closely behind Qin Yun. A violent snowstorm arrived with a whistling sound, enveloped the group of 9 heavens divine demons, and quickly turned them into solid ice and frost. First it was lightning lock, then it is ice seal. The group of 9 heavens divine demons are unable to move. Although the leader of the group is a Tao god, Xian Rujing is also a formidable Tao god. Her ice seal divine power is released through heavenly universe frost curse. It is very effective against 9 heavens divine demons. Qin Yun's heaven-locking chain suddenly pierced through the leader's head, smashed his head, and poured into his body, causing him to suffer unbearable pain. A huge sacred tribulation gate appeared at this moment. It landed on the ground and gave rise to an energy wave. After the gate opened, all the 9 heavens divine demons were sucked into the gate and turned into energy by Nether Sun Tao Idol. These guys are as easy to deal with as weeds. Qin Yun took back the sacred tribulation gate, walked to Xian Rujing's side, and shook his head with a smile. Xiao Yun, It is very easy for you to deal with them. Even I can only seal them in ice at most. It is very difficult to kill them. Xian Rujing said, I wonder what the situation of the cat people is like right now. Qin Yun sighed and said, I hope they can escape and not be eaten. They should be able to escape. Cat race's speed is very fast. After I return, I will contact Cat God and ask. Xian Rujing said. Qin Yun looked at the city filled with invisible people. He could also be considered to have seen the strange races in the divine wilderness. They were all newly born races. He did not know how strong the invisible people were, but he was sure that this group of people was very gentle. Take care of yourselves. You must strengthen the defense. Qin Yun said to the city gate. Take care of yourself, little brother. Godly monarch of the divine wilderness, we only recognize you. The voice of the old man came from within the city gate. Qin Yun is alarmed. This mysterious, transparent race actually knows that he has the divine king heavenly seal. Xian Rujing is also somewhat surprised. She knows that these invisible people are not simple, but she did not question the youth. Goodbye. Qin Yun left with Xian Rujing. After they are far away, Xian Rujing said in low voice, Xiao Yun, those invisible people are very mysterious. They can see that you have the divine king heavenly seal. And it would be best if we don't disturb their peaceful life. Let them grow up in peace. Qin Yun said. Quickly look, that city disappeared. Xian Rujing turned her head to look and shouted in alarm. The city that was dazzling with golden light just now suddenly disappeared. It is very clear that it became transparent and hidden. The newly born races of the divine wilderness are indeed very strong, Qin Yun said with a laugh. It seems like even a bullshit Emperor Venerable is at a disadvantage when facing a powerful race. There are many new races in the divine wilderness. Nobody knows how many there are. Some are even hiding. Many heavens Emperor Venerable claims that the divine wilderness is his own. He doesn't even ask those powerful races. Along with the expansion of the divine nations, they will surely encounter even more of these new races in the future. Xiao Yun, they said that they only recognize you as the divine king. Xian Rujing very happily said with smile, that bullshit Emperor Venerable is very unpopular. So what if he is heaven's chosen? He can't convince the masses. Qin Yun sighed and said, I am worried that Emperor Venerable will use bloody methods to conquer other races. Xian Rujing grabbed Qin Yun's hand and said, Therefore you must become stronger and kill that Emperor Venerable. I will kill him. Although Qin Yun's tone is calm, his eyes are filled with determination and killing intent. Heaven's Emperor Venerable must die. Otherwise, he will kill Qin Yun. Qin Yun and Xian Rujing are inside the Heaven Leaping Shuttle. The Heaven Leaping Shuttle is now flying towards Sword Forest Desert. It is returning to Nanyang Divine Palace. Inside a room inside the Heaven Leaping Shuttle, Qin Yun and Xian Rujing finally have a peaceful moment to enjoy their sweet time together. They have been separated for so long. Now that they have reunited, they want to enjoy their time to their heart's content. The Heaven Leaping Shuttle flew for a whole night. It is still very far away from Nanyang Divine Palace. Early morning, Xian Rujing got up and put on her clothes. Qin Yun helped her comb her hair. I want to return to Myriad Realm's Divine Palace, Xian Rujing said with some reluctance. She spent a wonderful night with Qin Yun. It nourished her passionate heart that has been longing for Qin Yun for many days. You want to return so quickly? Qin Yun hugged her from behind and kissed her cool and elegant, beautiful face. Myriad Realm's Divine Palace has many things to do. I am Ice and Snow Goddess. I cannot be lazy, Xian Rujing said with a light smile. Qin Yun hugged Xian Rujing and kissed her passionately. Xian Rujing took out a very large disc and said with smile, I can use this thing to return to Myriad Realm's Divine Palace. This is a teleportation tool made by Big Brother Space. It is very convenient. I will also make some later so I can return to Nanyang Divine Palace at any time. Qin Yun looked at the disc. I have to return quickly, otherwise Yu Qin will scold me. She must have been waiting for me for a long time. Xian Rujing said with light smile. That dragon girl baby is very mischievous. Long Yuqing is heavenly dragon god. Her god position is very good from the name alone. As for what her responsibilities are, Qin Yun is not clear, because this is all arranged by divine judge. Qin Yun accompanied Xian Rujing outside the heaven-leaping shuttle and then watched her leave. Qin Yun is standing on the heaven-leaping shuttle and looking at the color of the sky. It is not even noon, yet the sunlight of the 3 myriad realms' divine suns is very intense. He began summoning Yun Long through the 2 heavenly law blood medallion. Not long after, a white cloud flew over. Boss! Yun Long saw Qin Yun and promptly said with smile. Qin Yun is now his boss. Moreover, with Qin Yun's protection, Yun Long no longer needs to suffer from those bad luck in Heavenly Law Pawn Shop. What is the current situation of Heavenly Law Pawn Shop? Qin Yun asked. It is in stable operation. We have recovered many good things. Yun Long said. Oh, that's right. As the boss, can I take away those things? Qin Yun said with smile. Of course not. Those things were all sealed up. Even if you're the boss, you cannot act recklessly. Boss, don't have any random ideas. Yun Long hastily said. Qin Yun is even more doubtful. Even the boss cannot take away those things. But MOG secretly took away many of them and stuffed them into 9 Sun Divine Soul. Then what role do I, the boss, have in Heavenly Law Pawn Shop? Qin Yun asked. I don't know the specifics. Wait until the meeting. You will roughly know. In short, there are some benefits, but I have not come in contact with that level, so I don't know. Yun Long shook his head. That little girl Bing Bing also doesn't know. Qin Yun asked Dongfang Bing Bing before, but she also doesn't know. Of course, only the boss himself knows this kind of thing the best. Moreover, different bosses get different benefits and authority. Even bosses don't know what benefits the other side gets. Yun Long said with smile. Help me inform my foster father. Tell him to find emoji in 9 Nether Realm as soon as possible. Qin Yun said. Yun Long nodded and said, I will immediately go back and inform him. After Yun Long left, Qin Yun returned to the heaven-leaping shuttle and continued on his way back to 9 Sun Divine Palace. Xian Rujing said before that there are many heavenly divine nations factions outside the Sword Forest Desert's heaven-reaching great formation. Among the newly born clans of heavenly divine desolate, there are good ones and bad ones. There are also tyrannical clans who are eyeing 9 Sun Divine Palace. Therefore, Qin Yun can see many large ships flying here, and they're outside the 100,000 Sword Mountain range. There are also many clans flying here and there. They want to constantly monitor the Sword Forest Desert's heaven-reaching sword formation, wait for the people inside to come out, then capture them and interrogate them. Naturally, they did not succeed because the heaven-reaching sword formation is very big. Even if they don't come out, they won't feel bored inside. For example, White Sun Heavenly City, 3 I Heavenly City, as well as 9 Sun Royal Family have all moved inside, but the entire Sword Forest Desert is still very sparsely populated. Qin Yun is just outside the heaven-reaching sword formation. It will be very easy for him to enter. He stayed outside because he wanted to see what kind of forces these big ships that were loitering outside the heavenly sword formation belonged to. While Qin Yun is observing those large ships, the earth suddenly trembled. There is an incomparably huge mountain in the distance. It looks like it is sailing in a desert, giving rise to bursts of sand and dust. That mountain is the heavenly law altar where Tian Dao Zi is. This guy really knows that I am looking for him. Qin Yun indeed wants to find Tian Dao Zi because he wants to bring him to Heavenly Dao Pawn Shop for a meeting. The appearance of Heavenly Law altar caused many large ships to react. Those large ships are all flying towards Heavenly Law altar. Qin Yun is also flying over. He wants to ask Tian Dao Zi about Heavenly Venerables. Tian Dao Zi surely knows a lot about this matter. In the sky, a large white pig was flying toward the altar of heaven. It is Shiman Dazhuang who is riding his Pippy Pig. Qin Yun immediately flew over. When he flew over, Pippy Pig was also very vigilant. Dazhuang, Pippy Pig, it's me. Qin promptly sent sound transmission to them, stating his identity so that Pippi Pig won't use heaven wave fart on him. Chapter 2431. Tian Dao Zi is most afraid of Pippi Pig and Shimin Dazhuang. Although these two are not very strong, their mental pollution is very strong. It can be described as dreadful. Why are you going there? Did Tian Dao Zi tell you to go? Qin asked. He is now worried that these two will scare Tian Dao Zi away. Master has arrived. We will go and greet him. This is human nature, Shimin Dazhuang said with mischievous smile. Shimin Dazhuang is tall and thin. His appearance can be considered passable. In short, he is not as heaven-shaking and earth-shattering handsome as he bragged. Pippi Pig also revealed his row of teeth and laughed. Seeing their smile, Qin realized that Tian Dao Zi is out of luck. He guessed that Pippi Pig must have developed a new technique, and now that Tian Dao Zi has arrived, it wants him to experience it. Don't cause trouble when the time comes. Wait until I finish questioning Tian Dao Zi. Then you can cause as much trouble as you want. Qin said, We won't cause trouble. We're just going to find Master and have a heart-to-heart talk. Shimin Dazhuang said with beaming smile. How can Shimin Dazhuang be so kind as to go find Tian Dao Zi and have a heart-to-heart talk? Qin can only speed up and rush to Tian Dao Zi's location. He doesn't want Shimin Dazhuang and Pippi Pig to scare away Tian Dao Zi. Soon, Qin arrived at the bottom of the Heavenly Dao altar. He easily passed through the Heavenly Dao altar's barrier and entered a cave. Tian Dao Zi, Qin hastily yelled after entering. Tian Dao Zi usually stays at the top of the Heavenly Dao altar. Now that there are so many flying ships surrounding him, he doesn't dare to show himself and can only hide inside. Aya, you came quite fast, brat. Tian Dao Zi is wearing white robe. His hair and eyebrows are shaved clean. It can be said that he doesn't have a single strand of hair. His appearance is very young, but he looks very comical. I just came back and you appeared. How did you know I was looking for you? Qin said with smile. I calculated with my fingers and guessed that you were looking for me. Tian Dao Zi chuckled and said, Brat, why did you come looking for me? Just then, Shimin Dazhuang shouted from outside, Master, you damned old baldy, let me in quickly. Shimin Dazhuang was trapped in that passageway. Although he could enter the cave, he could not enter the inner hall. Tian Dao Zi smiled proudly and rubbed his bald head. Dazhuang, you are still too young. I, your master, am the son of the Heavenly Dao. How could I not know what you and Pippi Pig are thinking? Qin also found the master-disciple trio odd. They schemed against each other and made fun of each other. The way they greeted each other was extremely unique. It could only be said that if they weren't a family, they wouldn't enter the same door. Uncle, quickly think of a way to get me in. I want to give Master a big gift. Shimin Dazhuang shouted, a gift that he will never forget for the rest of his life. Dazhuang, stop shouting. How could you possibly give me a gift? Are you trying to fool a child? Tian Dao Zi laughed, and then closed the partition door of the inner hall. Shimin Dazhuang's shouts disappeared. Tian Dao Zi, what's going on with the all-heaven sovereigns? Have you heard about this matter? Qin asked. Speaking of all-heaven sovereigns, Tian Dao Zi's expression sank and said, I knew you would ask about this matter. How much do you know? Speak. Qin said, all-heaven sovereigns are the true, new heavenly Dao. As for you, you are just a counterfeit. Tian Dao Zi said. Back then, Qin had once traveled to a world. There, he learned that counterfeit goods mainly meant counterfeit goods. Therefore, he can understand Tian Dao Zi's meaning. However, he still finds it strange and said, he said, I am a tool man. You said I am a counterfeit. The difference is very big. You are a tool man, but you are also a counterfeit. You are a counterfeit heavenly Dao successor. Tian Dao Zi said, because as a heavenly Dao successor, one must experience many tribulations, all kinds of tribulations. Moreover, when heavenly Dao was still around, it began to torture and temper the new heavenly Dao. In other words, the old heavenly Dao personally tempered me? Qin thought of something, but he can't grasp the main point. When all heaven's sovereigns were born, their souls were destined to inherit the new heavenly Tao. But their parents and elders didn't want them to suffer too much, so they created you and arranged everything so that you could bear everything in their place. So long as they wait until the final moment, all heaven's sovereigns will kill you, swallow your soul, and obtain your memories. They will be equivalent to you and will experience everything you have experienced. Tian Daozi said. This. Qin Yun is very shocked. He finds this hard to believe. He didn't expect that this is the meaning of his existence. It is actually to bear hardships for others, to live the most painful life for others. But man proposes, heaven disposes. After the old heavenly Tao discovered this matter, he beat you at your own game and increased your tempering. Moreover, under the condition of not violating heavenly rules, he made some small adjustments to your life trajectory. Tian Daozi said with mischievous smile, "Then is this good or bad for me?" Qin Yun recalled the life he had experienced. At times, he felt that his life had been arranged by someone, but at other times, he felt that his hard work had changed his fate. Hard to say. It all depends on you. From the very beginning, old heavenly Tao weakly guided your fate and let you walk on a path that nobody can predict. Tian Daozi said, "Originally, your 9 lives and 9 lives were all carefully planned out by them. As long as the time is up, you will die. So long as the time is up, you will be swallowed by all heaven sovereigns. Then is the time up?" Qin Yun hastily asked. According to reason, it should be up, but all heaven's sovereigns did not succeed. Therefore, nobody can predict what will happen in the future. Tian Daozi's expression became solemn and said, "I am worried that you will bitterly struggle to defy heaven's fate, but the result will still be the same." According to the records of heavenly rule Tao tradition, Qin Yun's final result is being eaten by all heaven sovereigns. Qin Yun finally understood why all heaven sovereigns could not kill him before. Nobody knows what kind of adjustments the old heavenly Tao made to your life trajectory back then. Tian Daozi shook his head and said, "In short, there's a great deviation in the records of heavenly rule Tao tradition. This deviation will lead to a great impact. Maybe there will be even more formidable power that will intervene and make corrections. At that time, you'll have to face corrections." Qin Yun asked, "If I am corrected, then what will happen?" Tian Daozi sighed and said, "Very simple. You'll be captured by them, and then all heaven's sovereigns will eat you. This way they can correct the final result." "It's not that easy," Qin Yun groaned. "Yes, it's definitely not that easy. So how you go from here on is up to you." Tian Daozi said, "In short, I am standing on your side." Tian Daozi, do you know anything about Divine Sun descendants? Qin Yun asked. The matter of Divine Sun descendants is very complicated. I still don't understand it. Tian Daozi shook his head and said, "This kind of thing's existence is already out of balance. Currently, there is no power that can correct it. Who made the heavenly rule Tao tradition?" Qin Yun asked again. "I don't know. Ancient desolate people might know. Heaven creation divine palace people should also know a bit. In short, heavenly rule Tao tradition can be seen as a heavenly book. It records the fate of all living beings." Tian Daozi said, "The fate of all living beings? Everything a person experiences from birth to death?" Qin Yun's brows jumped as he shouted in alarm. "How is this possible?" However, a small number of living beings have deviated from their fates, such as Yumi, Dezhuang, and Pippi Pig, and the reason why we deviated is because we met you. Tian Daozi frowned and said, "You seem to have grasped a mysterious power. It caused the mandate of heaven to change." Imperial heaven. Qin Yun suddenly thought of the imperial heaven heart, imperial heaven diagram, and imperial heaven divine art. These things were accumulated after experiencing 9 lifetimes. Others might not be able to obtain them. No matter what, you must defeat the venerable sovereigns of the heavens. As long as you eliminate this fellow who is about to take over the heavenly Tao, you will be able to cross a hurdle on the path of defying the heavenly Tao. As for what the next hurdle is, no one knows. Tian Daozi patted Qin Yun's shoulder. If the Empyrean supremacy becomes the new heavenly Tao, wouldn't the world be thrown into chaos? Asked Qin Yun. Tian Daozi smiled and said, perhaps the existence of venerable sovereigns is to end the heavenly Tao. The heavenly Tao has its own Tao, and that is the heavenly Tao. Heaven has no Tao, that is hell. This made Qin Yun think of the 9 heavens. Because the 9 heavens has no Tao, that is wide as hell. And the previous incarnation of a 9 heavens Empyrean was also active in the 9 heavens. No matter what, I will bravely move forward. Qin Yun is now completely fearless. Is there anything else you need from me? Nothing, I will be leaving. Tian Daozi said. The Heavenly Tao pawn shop is preparing for a meeting. I have 2 Heavenly Tao blood medallion. If Boss Dongfang is willing to stand on my side, we will have 3 Heavenly Tao blood medallion. Qin Yun said. He knows that Tian Daozi must know the rules of the Heavenly Tao pawn shop. After Tian Daozi heard this, he said, Boss Dongfang is truly willing to stand on your side. His daughter is in my hands. His daughter is now my female slave. Qin Yun said. This old fox Dongfang is quite similar to his eldest senior brother, Heavenly Tao. Tian Daozi said with mischievous smile. What do you mean? Qin Yun said with frown. He seems to be very concerned about his daughter. You shouldn't be lying to me, right? He is indeed very concerned about his daughter. But if this old fox can tie his daughter to you, it can be considered a success, Tian Daozi said, because he wants to have some interaction with you. Only then can he reverse his and his daughter's fate. Moreover, it will be changed in a good direction. Chapter 2432. Qin Yun knows that this Tian Daozi must know many things. But he is also very suspicious because it seems like Tian Daozi didn't know many things before. The things that Tian Daozi knew seemed to come to light from time to time. Tian Daozi, you didn't know that I was a tool, right? How did you suddenly know? Qin Yun asked. I just suddenly found out. Tian Daozi spread out his hands and said with smile, I also don't understand. Oh, that's right. When you go to Heavenly Tao pawn shop, I will appear near it. Qin Yun looked at the exit door and said, Dazhuang and Pippi are still outside. I won't disturb your master and disciple reunion. Those 2 little guys are too young. Do they really think I am so easy to bully? Tian Daozi rolled up his sleeves and said with sinister smile, They treated me like that before. Now I want revenge. Send me out. The scene of your reunion will be very beautiful, but I don't want to see it, Qin Yun said with smile. Qin Yun thought about it and realized that Pippi is using all kind of killer moves to attack Tian Daozi. Tian Daozi pointed at an entrance. There is a staircase leading to the top of Heavenly Tao altar. He hinted Qin Yun to go out from the top. Qin Yun entered the staircase and began madly running. Even though he is running very fast, he can still hear all kind of screams and screams on the road. There are Tian Daozi's miserable screams, Pippi's pig-like roars, as well as Shimen Dazhuang's curses and screams. These 3 guys have a very good relationship with each other. Qin Yun shook his head and smiled. He very quickly arrived at the top of Heavenly Tao altar. Now there are many huge flying ships surrounding the Heavenly Tao altar. Heavenly Tao altar looks like a 10,000 zhang tall mountain. Although these huge ships are also very big, they're still very small compared to Heavenly Tao altar. However, the scene of more than 100 giant ships circling around the huge altar of heaven was still quite a spectacular sight. What kind of power do these guys belong to? Qin Yun is standing at the top of Heavenly Tao altar. After becoming invisible, he very closely observed those huge flying ships. The platform at the top of Heavenly Tao altar is the very center of Heavenly Tao altar. It is also the most core area. Qin Yun is currently standing in the center, looking at the flying ships in all directions. Xiao Yun, it seems like you rarely stand on this heavenly law altar. Ling Yun smiled and said, This is something used to offer sacrifices to the heavens. Offering sacrifices to the heavens? Last time the heavenly law altar was sacrificed, it produced a heavenly, universe divine sun. Qin Yun said with mischievous smile. At that time, he had used the heads of a few tribe emperors and the 9 heavens demon emperor to offer sacrifices to the heavens. The effects were pretty good. Hearing Ling Yuner mention the heaven worship, Qin Yun suddenly became very interested in this heavenly Tao altar. To him, this heavenly altar was a very mysterious existence. Tian Daozi was able to bring this huge altar everywhere, appearing and disappearing unpredictably. Qin Yun stood on the altar and studied it for a while. He could not find anything special about it. This made him feel even more baffled. Even if he opened his third eye, he would not be able to see through those hidden dark patterns. This heavenly Tao altar is truly strong. Qin Yun used all kinds of methods to activate the altar, but failed to create any movement. When he was very engrossed in his research, he suddenly heard someone shouting from a distance. People inside the heavenly Tao altar, please come out immediately. If you don't come out, we will attack. Qin Yun immediately looked towards the direction of the voice. There's a huge flying ship riding on clouds and mist over there. The mist over there is 9-colored. The entire flying ship is made of gold-white crystal. Qin Yun can tell with a glance that this is the material of Myriad Realms' Divine Sunday. Could it be Illusion Race? Qin Yun doesn't have any good impression of Illusion Race because they want to unite 9 heavens divine demons and 9 heavens divine race, as well as heavenly sovereigns. Just as Qin Yun was guessing whether or not the person who asked the question was from Illusion Race, Shimen Dazhuang suddenly shouted, "Who is the guy who spoke just now? Your face is really big. Who do you think you are? Why don't one go out? Quickly scram. If you have the guts, come in and attack. Let's see who is tough. We are Illusion Race. We came from the 20th Myriad Realms Divine Sun. We are a sacred race created by the Myriad Realms Divine Sun. I am one of the 5 elders of Illusion Race, Elder Phantom." The person who spoke shouted with ice-cold anger. "People inside the altar, no matter who you are, the altar does not belong to you. If it doesn't belong to us, then who does it belong to?" Tian Daozi asked. Heavenly Tao altar belongs to Heavenly Tao. As everyone knows, the current Heavenly Tao is the Heavenly Sovereign of Divine Kingdom, the Heavenly Sovereign who is revered by millions and millions of living beings. Elder Phantom said in clear voice, "You seized the Heavenly Tao altar. If you don't hand it over, I will have no choice but to attack." Qin Yun is somewhat puzzled. Illusion Race is also a race inside Myriad Realms Divine Sun, but now they are speaking up for Heavenly Sovereign. It is very clear that Illusion Race and Divine Kingdom have reached some kind of agreement and have already joined hands. "Then you can attack," Tian Daozi said. Qin Yun has already experienced how hard Heavenly Tao altar is. Moreover, Heavenly Tao altar is also growing, especially now. It is absorbing the divine power of Myriad Realms Divine Sun. It has become even more sturdy. There are 9 heaven divine race, 9 heaven demon race, 8 Tao race, and other expert from God world on our side. If we attack together, we will be able to break through Heavenly Tao altar. At that time, you will all die. Elder Phantom said, "Truly a nest of snakes and rats. Quickly attack together. Let's see who will die." Shimen Dazhuang laughed loudly and said. At this time, Tian Daozi also appeared on the altar. He can't see Qin Yun, but he knows that Qin Yun is here. "Tian Daozi, how are you going to fight back?" Qin Yun asked. "I am not very good at fighting," Tian Daozi said. "You also know Dazhuang's level. Pippy Pig only knows how to fart. He can only deal with 1 or 2 people, but to deal with so many people, he really can't do anything." Tian Daozi's meaning is very clear. He wants Qin Yun to help him fight back. "I have no problem dealing with 1 or 2 people, but to deal with so many people outside, I have the heart, but not the strength." Qin Yun said. What he said is also the truth. Those flying ships have very dreadful defense. Moreover, there is Shun Tian Jun on them. If Qin Yun stealthily went over and used 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda's floating cloud rod to destroy one ship, it is not a problem. But to destroy so many, it is very difficult. I know that you have mastered 9-sun world extermination scripture. It is a very strong divine technique. Tian Daozi rubbed his hands and said with mischievous smile, "You stand on the altar. I will control the altar to help you release even stronger 9-sun world extermination power." Qin Yun saw Tian Daozi smile and curled his lips. "Will this affect me? Will it hollow out my body? I have a very bad feeling." "Relax. I guarantee that nothing will happen to you. Heavenly Tao altar has a lot of energy stored inside. This energy is like a dragon without a head. It doesn't know how to release it. It also doesn't know how to transform it into even stronger energy. You need to draw it out." Tian Daozi said. "Will I really be fine?" Qin Yun is worried that he will be tricked by Tian Daozi. "After this matter is done, I will not treat you unfairly," Tian Daozi said. Qin Yun touched the heaven-locking chain on his neck and said with cold groan, "Last time you said you would give this thing to me, but it was originally meant for me." The heaven-locking chain was taken out from the Heavenly Tao altar. Although I was the former shopkeeper of the Heavenly Tao pawn shop, it is not easy for me to take out this thing. I just felt that you need it, so I took it out and gave it to you," Tian Daozi said. Qin Yun patted Tian Daozi's bald head and scolded with smile. "Tian Daozi, how many things did you actually swindle from me?" Tian Daozi rubbed his bald head, spread out his hands, and said, "You are a counterfeit. And the heaven-locking chain was originally meant for all heavenly venerables. I generously gave it to you." "All right, after this matter is done, what will you give me?" Qin Yun asked. "After this matter is done, we will talk. You must believe me. We are now on the same side. Originally, this altar was supposed to be returned to all heavenly venerables, but I feel that he is not worthy of it." Qin Yun realized that Tian Daozi wants him to swindle the Heavenly Tao altar. He has been inside the Heavenly Tao altar for so long. He feels that this altar is his home. Therefore, he doesn't want to hand it over to all heavenly venerables. Qin Yun also has the right to take back the altar, but he is not interested in it all. When he needs it, Tian Daozi can just appear with the altar. But all heavenly venerables are different. He must control the Heavenly Tao altar. Tian Daozi, Tian Daozi, you bastard, you actually want to become enemies with the new Heavenly Tao? Ha ha ha, you are the enemy of Heavenly Tao. Qin Yun laughed loudly and said, Tian Daozi clearly wants to fight against all heavenly venerables, and all heavenly venerables are the new Heavenly Tao. Before, Tian Daozi always said that Qin Yun is the enemy of Heavenly Tao. But now, Tian Daozi has become the person he hates the most. Uncle Qin, you stand on the altar and use 9-sun world extermination scripture to drive away those guys outside. I will tell you about the Heaven Creation Divine Palace and the secret of the bloodline heavenly rune in your hand. Moreover, I also have something else to give you, Tian Daozi said with beaming smile. Tian Daozi is very anxious in his heart. He is very worried that the Heavenly Tao altar will be attacked, because he is very clear that this altar is very important to all heavenly venerables. He must display the might of the Heavenly Tao altar to the people of the world so that they won't have any ideas about it. He must even intimidate all heavenly venerables. However, Tian Daozi cannot release the formidable might of the altar. Tian Daozi is very clear that Qin Yun can. Not only Qin Yun can release the might of the Heavenly Tao altar, he can also create a great commotion. Maybe he can even scare all heavenly venerables. How do you know that I have the bloodline heavenly rune? Qin Yun asked. I just know. My divine strategy and ingenious foresight foretold that all the divine universe golden stones accumulated by 9-sun royal family in the past have been obtained by you, Tian Daozi said. All the large ships are now condensing energy. They are about to bombard the Heavenly Tao altar. Chapter 2433. Seeing how anxious Tian Dao Zi is, Qin Yun realized that he is afraid that Heavenly Dao Zi will be besieged. However, it seems like Tian Dao Zi is not sincere enough. You are using Da Zhuang and Pippi as a guarantee. This is not sincere at all, Qin Yun said with a smile. He is not afraid that Heavenly Dao Zi will be besieged. Heavenly Dao Zi's defense is very strong. Even if it is breached in the end, it will not be breached in a short time. Tian Dao Zi is afraid of losing power. Facing besiegement, it is best for Heavenly Dao Zi to take the initiative to attack. Only like this can they intimidate the enemy. Heaven Creation Divine Palace is looking for bloodline heavenly rune everywhere. According to my information, they believe that it is in the hands of Moon Shi Clan's emperor, Tian Dao Zi said. And then, Qin Yun hastily asked, Heaven Creation Divine Palace's palace master is Yu Tian. Moreover, she has very good relationship with Yu Shi. Their souls fused together before, and they look exactly the same. And Heaven Creation Divine Palace is looking for bloodline heavenly rune everywhere. I'll tell you after we chase away those guys outside, Tian Dao Zi urged. Have you started yet? I want to release Heavenly Dao Zi's energy. I can start. Qin Yun took a deep breath and entered Imperial Heaven State. His eyes suddenly turned deep blue. At this time, the entire Heavenly Dao altar trembled. A great amount of divine power poured into the top of the altar. Ho! A white divine power rushed out of the platform Qin Yun is standing on, transformed into a dense multicolored light that completely enveloped Qin Yun. In that split second, Qin Yun sensed a sharp pain spreading throughout his body. The Heavenly Dao altar's energy is very strong and berserk. It is frantically infiltrating his body. Luckily, Qin Yun has cultivated heavenly body. His heavenly blood and heavenly bone are very strong. He can withstand this berserk divine power. Moreover, he can sense that his heavenly body was born for this kind of energy. Although he felt great pain when the energy rushed out, the pain gradually subsided. Boom! Qin Yun has no choice but to release 10 holy tribulation gates. 10 holy tribulation gates became smaller and surrounded Qin Yun. The holy tribulation gates opened and began swallowing white energy. Tian Dao Zi is standing beside the altar. He cannot see what is happening inside, but he can sense a dreadful heavenly might brewing inside. Great, Tian Dao Zi said with a smile. As long as he releases a great tribulation, even the venerable sovereigns in the heavens will think that I can release a heavenly tribulation, so they won't have any ideas about me. At least for now, he won't dare to do anything to me. By this time, Shimin Zhuang and Pippi Pig had arrived behind Heaven Dao Zi. Master, what happened? Why do I feel like God is going crazy? Shimin Zhuang shouted in shock. Where's the old uncle? Inside, Tian Dao Zi said. The altar is shining with dazzling white light. It is impossible to see Qin Yun and the 10 sacred tribulation gates inside. The flying ships that were circling around the altar had been accumulating power in preparation to bombard the altar. However, at this moment, they immediately condensed their energy to form a defensive shield. The heavenly altar trembled and roared. That intense white light penetrated through it. At the top of this mountain-like altar, it was as if a white sun was about to emerge, surging with waves of majestic heavenly might. If you don't leave, I will attack. Tian Dao Zi shouted in cold voice. I am Tian Dao Zi, the master of the Heavenly Dao altar. The Heavenly Dao altar does not belong to anyone. Even the venerable sovereigns of the heavens cannot snatch it from my hands. His majestic voice spread out from the Heavenly Dao altar, causing people to think that he is preparing a big move. Tian Dao Zi, don't bluff. You alone are not enough to control the Heavenly Dao altar. The person who spoke is not the Phantom Elder. It seems like he came from 9 Heaven Divine race. You are the ones who are bluffing. I will show you my strength in a moment. Tian Dao Zi laughed heartily and said, Qin Yun also wants to quickly release a great tribulation. but he discovered that he is unable to control it. Because the heavenly Tao altar's energy is unceasingly surging into his body and entering the 10 sacred tribulation gates. This guy Tian Daozi, I knew he was up to no good. Qin Yun cursed in his heart. He already discovered that whether or not he can release Great Tribulation is completely under Tian Daozi's control. Tian Daozi can control the heavenly Tao altar's energy. He can also control Qin Yun's Great Tribulation. The commotion outside the Sword Forest Desert is very big. Nine Yan Divine Palace and Divine Moon Clan must have already discovered it. Tian Daozi, why don't you quickly release the technique? I am already prepared. Qin Yun said in deep voice. Sir, wait a moment. I feel that it is not strong enough. You should absorb a bit more energy. Your 10 sacred tribulation gates can withstand it. Tian Daozi said, Don't worry. As long as you help me this time, I will not treat you unfairly. Qin Yun has boarded Tian Daozi's pirate ship. He can only accept it. Now he knows that the Sacred Tribulation Gate has a very big use. It can crazily pour in a lot of energy. He feels that if he can borrow the Myriad Realms Divine Sun's energy, he might be able to draw the Myriad Realms Divine Sun's energy into the Tribulation Gate and then explode it. Tian Daozi, if you exhaust the Heavenly Tao altar's energy, you will have no way out. This Heavenly Tao altar does not belong to you. It belongs to Emperor Venerables. Phantom Elder said. Tian Daozi ignored him and continued releasing the Heavenly Tao altar's energy. He wants to create a heaven-shaking and earth-shaking scene. Qin Yun felt that those flying ships outside would most likely be destroyed in an instant. At this time, a cold and dignified voice rang out. Dogs of Divine Nation, scram for me. The one who spoke is Divine Moon Race's Du Shangyun. Nobody knows if Yu Shangyun has come out or not, but her voice brought along a majestic air wave that rolled up a sandstorm that blotted out the sky and covered the earth. Those flying ships are floating very steadily in the sky. They're not far away from the Heavenly Tao altar. They're not attacking. They're only defending. Divine Moon Race's Du, you're already destined to be Emperor Venerable's wife. As long as you agree to follow us to Emperor City and enter the Emperor Palace, you'll be Emperor Empress. Phantom Elder said, Shut up. I won't be his woman even if I die. He is not worthy. Having you dogs around Emperor Venerables will only make me feel even more disgusted. Yu Shangyun furiously said, Ha ha ha. Divine Moon Race's Du, do you really think that through Heaven Sword formation will forever belong to that Qin Yun? Qin Yun will definitely die. Through Heaven Sword formation belongs to Emperor Venerables. Myriad Heavens Divine Moon and Myriad Worlds 9 Suns belong to Emperor Venerables. And your Divine Moon Race's Du will sooner or later be subdued by Emperor Venerables. Down! Yu Shangyun is extremely angry. She originally wanted to say something, but the Heavenly Tao altar suddenly fiercely trembled. Dragon roar, as if from 9 heavenly domain. Qin Yun heard Phantom Elder's words and was unable to suppress his anger, causing Tian Daozi to be unable to continue controlling the altar. Even the 3 divine suns in the sky suddenly became incomparably intense. Hua hua hua. The most dreadful thing is that when the 3 divine suns burst with intense light, 9 huge dragons suddenly roared down from the 3 divine suns. At the same time, the Heavenly Tao altar also shot out 9 intense white light beams that shot into the sky. In the blink of an eye, 9 incomparably huge flame dragons arrived, blotting out the sky and surging in the sky. A huge ball formed from white energy appeared in the sky. It looks like a small sun. This is the energy released by the Heavenly Tao altar. It set off a burst of berserk energy wave in the sky. The vast and mighty heavenly might, accompanied by dragon roar and thunder, wreaked havoc in all directions. In just a few short moments, the 3 divine suns and the Heavenly Tao altar seemed to resonate and converged into a heaven and earth shaking Great Tribulation. The Great Tribulation is about to arrive. all living beings under the Great Tribulation are panicking like ants. Tian Daozi, you are defying the heavenly Tao. A burst of angry shout came from the distance. This is the voice of Emperor Venerables. Such a great tribulation also alarmed Emperor Venerables. Emperor Venerables are far away in Emperor City, but their voices came from the horizon. Their momentum and might did not decrease at all. Boom, boom, boom. Countless thunder and lightning accompanied by 9 berserk flame dragons attacked from the sky, covering several hundred li of the heavenly Tao altar. A small area of the through Heaven Sword formation was also bombarded by the berserk tribulation power. Countless thunder and lightning, like a violent waterfall, kept pouring down from the sky. The most terrifying thing are the 900,000 feet long super dragons, crazily surging and roaring around the heavenly Tao altar. The heavenly Tao altar, which was originally huge, now looks incomparably small, like an island in a sea of dragons and thunder and lightning. 9 dragons' glorious sun tribulation. Yu Shangyun, who is on a sword peak inside the through Heaven Sword formation, said with a slight frown. It's him. Wind Moon Marquis behind Yu Shangyun said. Yes. Yu Shangyun nodded gently, her eyes showing a slightly complicated look. Qin Yun is back. Qin Yun was forced into the dangerous 3 divine sons by the Emperor Venerables, and this matter was also flaunted by the Emperor Venerables everywhere, claiming that Qin Yun will die soon. Later, Qin Yun appeared in the 2 divine sons. At that time, the illusion race was also present, as well as 3-eyed divine king and many other heavenly monarchs. Once this matter spread, it caused quite a stir. When the Great Tribulation descended, those flying ships were like small boats in a storm. In an instant, their defensive barriers were pierced by the violent thunder. Compared to the dragon's body, the huge ships are pitifully small, not even as big as a dragon's scale. Under the crazy explosion of the 9 dragons, those flying ships were crushed. Not a single one was left. Many Saint God and Tao God Realm experts were instantly annihilated. Only 3 heavenly monarchs survived. The Great Tribulation came quickly and left quickly as well. After a moment, the surroundings of the heavenly Tao altar became calm and tranquil. Only 3 heavenly monarchs are looking at the heavenly Tao altar with unsightly and fearful expressions. Even Tian Daozi was scared silly. Tian Daozi never expected that Qin Yun will be able to draw the power of myriad worlds' divine sons. Moreover, it is the power of 3 divine sons. Qin Yun let out a light breath. The 10 tribulation gates have already been absorbed into his body. Elder Phantom is wearing a white and blue gown. He is floating in the air. With a glance, he saw the handsome youth with extraordinary martial prowess on the altar. Qin Yun's eyes emitted a blue light. The moment he looked at Elder Phantom, his sharp gaze pierced through with boundless heavenly might. Chapter 2434. Elder Phantom guessed that the person on the altar was Qin Yun, but he did not dare believe it. Because as far as he knew, Qin Yun was only a saint god, not even a Tao god. Yet he was able to create such a terrifying great tribulation. Furthermore, Elder Phantom knew very well that the reason why the Great Tribulation was so terrifying was because of the help of the 3 myriad realms' divine sons. Qin Yun was just a tool. Now, not only could he use the heavenly law altar, he could also borrow the divine power of 3 myriad realms' divine sons. This made Elder Phantom feel incredulous. Even the heavenly emperors, the true inheritors of the heavenly law, might not be able to do what Qin Yun did. At the very least, the heavenly emperors could not use the power of 3 myriad realms' divine sons. Elder Phantom's illusion race was created by the myriad realms' divine sons. He knew very well what it meant to be able to borrow the power of the myriad realms' divine sons. Is it important who I am? Qin Yun coldly looked at Elder Phantom and said, The divine son created you and bestowed you with great power, not to make you become dogs. Since you don't cherish the grace of the divine sun, I will send you back to the furnace. You what big words, who do you think you are? What right do you have to represent the will of the divine sun? Elder Phantom immediately became furious. You only seize the divine king heavenly seal to be able to use the power of the divine sun. If you recklessly use the power of the divine sun will definitely not let you off. Elder Phantom and the other two heavenly emperors were still floating not far from the heavenly law altar. Earlier, the heavenly emperors' voices and auras had appeared, but when the great tribulation descended, they disappeared without a trace. It was as if they were afraid of the heavenly law altar's might. Otherwise, if the heavenly emperors knew that Qin Yun was here, they might have immediately rushed over. Qin Yun did not go out. He was still unable to defeat the three heavenly emperors outside. Summoning the 9-dragon brilliant sun tribulation consumed a lot of his energy, and he was physically and mentally exhausted. You claim to be a sacred race, but you don't know anything. Qin Yun sneered coldly. Wait for the sun dragon race to appear. You will definitely know what a true sacred race is. Ha ha ha. Elder Phantom laughed loudly. If the sun dragon race appears, they will immediately find you and capture you and send you to the heavenly emperors. You know nothing about us sacred races. Is that so? Let's wait and see. Qin Yun said with a sneer. The sun dragon race knew that it was the divine sun that chose Qin Yun, but the illusion race did not. They were both creatures created by the divine sun. The illusion race lived in the outer region of the divine sun, while the sun dragon race lived in the inner region. The level of the sun dragon race was much higher than the illusion race. Just you wait. After Elder Phantom finished speaking, he turned around and flew away, leaving a long afterimage behind him. However, before he could fly far, a black figure suddenly flew out of the sky-piercing sword formation. Boom! Elder Phantom and the other two Shin Tianjun were struck by the silver divine power released by the person who flew out, causing an intense explosion. Qin Yun and Tian Daozi can sense how dreadful the divine power is inside the altar's barrier. It's the power of the divine moon. Tian Daozi said in a low voice. The divine moon clan's emperor has made a move. Qin Yun can see that the black figure is Yu Yun, who is wearing black battle armor and black helmet. Scram back and tell that scoundrel Di Zun of the heavens to stop claiming that I am his imperial empress, and stop saying that the divine moon clan is his harem. Yu Yun's ice-cold voice is filled with dense killing intent and anger. After Elder Phantom and the others were hit, their armors are in tatters. Their expressions are extremely unsightly, and they are also filled with fear. Although they are Shun Tianjun, they are no match for Yu Yun. They can only flee in panic. The three Shin Tianjun were able to survive the 9-dragon brilliant sun tribulation just now because they consumed a lot of energy. Yu Yun's sudden attack is also something they did not expect. Yu Yun glanced at Qin Yun from afar and then flew back into the heavenly sword formation. Qin Yun is not in a hurry to go back because he still has something to ask Tian Daozi. Dazhuang, Pippi, you two go back first. You saw just now, the heavenly law altar is very dangerous. If you continue to stay, you might not even be able to keep your lives. Master, is there some kind of treasure in the heavenly law altar that the Di Zun of the heavens want to obtain? Shimin Dazhuang rubbed his hands and said with mischievous smile, I have decided to stay and see what kind of treasure there is. If you don't go back, I will use my trump card. You also know that I am invincible in the altar. Tian Daozi laughed sinisterly and threatened. If you are itching for a beating, then feel free to stay. Shimin Dazhuang and Pippi Pig are so scared that they started trembling. We will go back now. Shimin Dazhuang walked to Qin Yun's side and said with smile, Old uncle, the 9-yang divine palace has improved a lot. You will definitely be shocked when you go back. Qin Yun laughed and said, Go back and tell them that I am fine. Tell them not to worry. Shimin Dazhuang and Pippi Pig left the heavenly law altar and returned to the heavenly sword formation. Qin Yun rubbed his fists, looked at Tian Daozi, and said with mischievous smile, Tian Daozi, you must fulfill your promise. If you don't, I will tear down your altar. Uncle Qin, tearing down the altar is not good for you. You also saw how strong the might of nine-sun world extermination scripture is. Tian Daozi's face is filled with smile. Quickly tell me about Bloodline Heavenly Rune and Heaven Creation Divine Palace. Qin Yun is also very impatient to know this secret. Tian Daozi said before that Heaven Creation Divine Palace is looking for Bloodline Heavenly Rune, and they even found Yushi's head. Let's go inside first. Tian Daozi picked his nose and entered a door. Qin Yun followed Tian Daozi and entered the door. They walked on the stairs to a safe secret room. After arriving at the secret room, Qin Yun took out a chair and sat down. He looked at Tian Daozi and said with a smile, "Don't play tricks. Originally, I didn't want to tell you about this matter." Tian Daozi spread out his hands and said with mischievous smile, "I didn't want to deliberately hide it from you. I just didn't want to distract you. Many thanks for your concern." Qin Yun said with smile, "Don't worry that I will be distracted. Just tell me." Tian Daozi also sat down and said, "I will talk about the Heaven Creation Divine Palace first. Is the current palace master still you, Tian? She is one of the 9-sun divine daughters." Qin Yun asked, "It's you, Tian, again. It has to be her, because she is the 9-sun divine maiden. Back then, she was born precisely to become the palace master. Of course, in the Heaven Creation God Palace, she does not hold the greatest power." Tian Daozi said, "It can only be said that the reason why she can become the palace master is mainly because the Heaven Creation God Palace wants to pass her. She's going to communicate with the 9 suns of the myriad worlds." Qin Yun had also thought about this matter before. The Heaven Creation Divine Palace had taken the initiative to find Yu Tian to be the palace master. Then she won't be in any danger in the Heaven Creation God Palace, right? Qin Yun is a little worried. Of course, there's no danger. If something happens to her, the 9 suns of the myriad realms will not let the Heaven Creation Divine Palace off. Tian Daozi waved his hand and said with a smile, "You can rest assured." Qin Yun nodded and said, "Then continue talking about the Heaven Creation God Palace." Tian Daozi retracted his smile, and his expression became quite serious. He rubbed his bald head and said, "The Heaven Creation God Palace has 5 emperors. This is the most powerful existence in the Heaven Creation God Palace." Qin Yun is not surprised. The Heaven Creation God Palace is a mysterious existence. It is definitely not up to the palace master to decide. Furthermore, Qin Yun still doesn't know where the real Heaven Creation God Palace is. During the time of the 9-sun royal family, Qin Yun stayed in the Heaven Creation God Palace for many years. In the end, because of a conflict, he left and created the 9-sun Divine Palace. He thought about it carefully. Not long after he was born, he went to the Heaven Creation God Palace. This also means that the existence of him, a tool, is related to the Heaven Creation God Palace. Tian Daozi continued, "The Bloodline Heavenly Rune is the lifeline of the 9 heavens. There are a total of 9 Bloodline Heavenly Runes. You can view the Bloodline Heavenly Rune as the root of the 9 heavens. If the 9 heavens are destroyed, as long as the Bloodline Heavenly Rune is still there, the 9 heavens can be reborn. Why did the 9-sun royal family's clan emperor have Bloodline Heavenly Rune back then?" Qin Yun is startled. He never thought that the Bloodline Heavenly Rune actually came from the 9 heavens. The 9-sun royal family's divine world has many similarities with the 9 heavens divine world. It can be said that the 9-sun divine world was born because of the 9 heavens and the 9 heavens goddess. The 9 heavens goddess reincarnated into the 9-sun divine world after the 9 heavens died. Tian Daozi said. Qin Yun suddenly thought of Xie Qiru. Xie Qiru was the 9-sun divine maiden, and she was also the 9 heavens goddess. Her name was Tian Shiro in the 9 heavens, and she was like a sister to Yu Shangyun. In other words, the Bloodline Heavenly Rune was given to the 9-sun royal family's clan emperor after Xie Qiru reincarnated into the 9-sun divine world. Then what is the use of the bloodline heavenly rune? Qin Yun asked. Is the heaven creation god palace very anxious about the bloodline heavenly rune? Bloodline heavenly runes are the roots of the 9 heavens. With bloodline heavenly runes, one can create the 9 heavens. Tian Daozi chuckled and said, the current situation is that the 5 heaven creation emperors want to master all the bloodline heavenly runes and then create the 9 heavens. The 9 sons of the myriad worlds also needed bloodline heavenly patterns. Under the foundation of the 9 sons, the 9 heavens would be born. Yang and Yang fused together to create an even stronger super god realm. This was the ambition of the myriad realms' 9 sons. That was why Siakiru had handed over the bloodline heavenly rune to the 9 sons royal family. Now, it had fallen into Qin Yun's hands. How did you know I have the bloodline heavenly rune? Do you know about the 5 heaven creation emperors? Qin Yun immediately realized that bloodline heavenly rune is a hot potato. I calculated it with my fingers. The heaven creation 5 emperors definitely don't know. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gone to find you, Shi. Tian Daozi laughed. Bloodline heavenly runes were very miraculous. They could fuse with the myriad divine saber and unleash even greater divine power. Chapter 2435. Qin Yun knows that the origin of the heavenly emperors is definitely not ordinary. Now that he found out that his parents are 2 of the 5 heaven creation emperors, he is still shocked. This guy's origin is indeed not small. Qin Yun groaned. No matter who is behind him, I am not afraid of him. Uncle, what kind of existence is the heaven creation divine palace? I still don't understand it. I only know that the heaven creation divine palace has a very close relationship with many god realms and 9 heavens. Tian Daozi said, did the heavenly law pawn shop and the heavenly law altar come from the heaven creation divine palace? Qin Yun said, will the 5 heaven creation divine palace take back the altar and the pawn shop? Tian Daozi shook his head and said, they are very powerful, but they can't interfere with the operation of the heavenly law pawn shop and the heavenly law altar. All right, if that's the case, then I can be at ease. Qin Yun is very worried that the heavenly law pawn shop will fall into the hands of the heavenly emperors and the heaven creation divine palace. You have the bloodline heavenly rune in your hands. You must not let the heaven creation divine palace know about this. If the 5 heaven creation emperors come out and fight over the bloodline heavenly rune from your hands, you won't be able to keep it. Tian Daozi warned. Oh, that's right. My parents went to a place. My mother said that if they go to that place, I won't die. Do you know where they went? After Qin Yun finished asking, he told Tian Daozi about his parents' situation. After Tian Daozi heard this, he took a few deep breaths and then walked back and forth. His expression became grave, and he said, this matter is rather complicated. I really didn't expect that it would involve your parents. Although my parents are only my parents in this life, I treat them as my only parents. Qin Yun said, nothing will happen to them for the time being. They will be fine for the time being. As for where they went, I don't know yet. I will investigate further. Tian Daozi said, it seems like when they created you, they held back a trick to prevent you from losing control, and your parents knew this. What do you mean? Qin Yun hastily asked. When they created you, they took away your lifeline. Once you lose control, they could destroy your lifeline and make you die. Tian Daozi patted his bald head and said, I should have thought of this long ago. Fortunately, your parents know about this. Otherwise, you might be finished. What method did my parents use to protect my lifeline? Qin Yun became even more anxious. He is now more worried about the safety of his parents. I don't know yet, but they'll be fine. Don't worry about that. Tian Daozi said, your lifeline must be hidden. As for where it is, I don't know. Your parents are not willing to tell you, which means that only they can reach it safely. He will definitely die. Then can you confirm that I was created by the heaven creation divine palace? Qin Yun asked, how do my parents know about this? They're working in the heavenly law pawn shop, so they must have secretly discovered many secrets, for they came into contact with some spirit bodies in the Heavenly Law pawn shop, so they learned about it. Tiandaozi said, "It was the heaven-creating divine palace that created you, but they do not have the qualifications to destroy you, because they were entrusted to you back then. The 9 sons joined forces to create you. The main contributors are the 9 sons." Qinyan never expected his background to be so bizarre. He was actually created by the 9 sons. What kind of existence was the 9 sons? This made him even more puzzled. Furthermore, the 9 sons' divine maiden had a common mission, to protect him. This was clearly arranged by the 9 sons. Tiandaozi saw that Qinyan is pondering. He patted his shoulder and said with a smile, "Don't think too much. Just live well. Although you were born to wait to be devoured by the heavenly sovereigns, you now have the strength to fight against the heavenly sovereigns." Qinyan said with a bitter smile, "I always feel that I am being pushed around by several factions." "That's right. You are such an existence now. The 9 sons want to protect you. The heavenly sovereigns want to kill you. The heaven creation divine palace and the ancient desolate are all secretly watching you, wanting to dig out something from your body." Tiandaozi spread out his hands and said, "This is the situation with your body." Qinyan sighed and said, "It seems that the reason I can live until now is all thanks to the 9 sons." Tiandaozi shook his head and said with a smile, "Of course it's not thanks to the 9 sons. It's thanks to yourself. The 9 sons are currently half asleep and half awake. They don't have the strength to care about so many things. You can live until now. This is the result of your own hard work." "Perhaps." Qinyan sighed. He feels that it is truly not easy for him to live until now. "All right, you should return to the 9-Sun Divine Palace in the Through Heaven Sword formation. I will go investigate the situation of your parents." Tiandaozi said. "Wait a minute, you said you would give me something?" Qinyan grinned, revealing a row of teeth, and said with a smile, "I still remember this matter." Tiandaozi laughed, patted his bald head, and said with a smile, "Look at me. I am truly forgetful. I almost forgot such an important matter." Qinyan rolled his eyes. Tiandaozi is clearly pretending to be forgetful. If Qinyan did not mention it, he would be able to fool him. "Hurry up and take out the thing." Qinyan is rather looking forward to it because Tiandaozi gave him the heaven-locking chain last time. The heaven-locking chain is very useful, especially when dealing with the 9 heavens divine race and 9 heavens divine demons. It is simply the best weapon to restrain the man-eating devils. Tiandaozi fumbled in his large sleeve for a long time before taking out a bronze key and handing it over to Qinyan. "What is this?" Qinyan curled his lips and said with a look of disgust, "It looks very old. Is this a weapon?" "It's just a key," Tiandaozi said. "Take good care of it. Don't break it. This key is unique. If you break it, it can't be repaired and it can't be forged again." Qinyan carefully looked at it. He opened his heavenly eye or used very strong mental power to probe it, but he was unable to find anything. "What is this key used for?" Qinyan asked. "It can open the key to a secret room inside the Heavenly Tao pawn shop. I only know this much." Tiandaozi shrugged his shoulders and said with a smile, "As for whether or not it has other uses, I am not sure. All right, the Heavenly Tao pawn shop has a secret room. The interior of the Heavenly Tao pawn shop is so big. Where is that secret room?" Qinyan asked again. "I also don't know. When the time comes, you can ask Boss Dongfang. He has been in the Heavenly Tao pawn shop longer than me. He must know where the secret room is." Tiandaozi said, "When you go to the Heavenly Tao pawn shop for a meeting, I will be there. Just a key? You really don't have anything else to give me?" Qinyan is somewhat disappointed in his heart, because last time he got the heaven-locking chain from Tiandaozi, now it is just a broken key. "Uncle, this key can open the secret room of the Heavenly Tao pawn shop. Maybe that secret room is a great treasury?" Tiandaozi said with a smile. "Don't you know what kind of place the Heavenly Tao pawn shop is? Even the heaven creation 5 emperors keep thinking about the good things inside." Qinyan put away the key, curled his lips, and said, "You bastard, you must have something else to give me." You want to keep this heavenly Tao altar for yourself. It can be seen that you are also a very greedy guy. Uncle, please look at my honest eyes. I am not deceiving you. I have nothing else to give you. Tian Daozi also very sincerely said, How about this, if you don't mind? I will give you all my clothes. Tian Daozi finished speaking and began taking off his clothes. Fuck off. Qin Yun kicked him and scolded with smile. Forget it. Even if you have something good, it must be hidden in this heavenly Tao altar. De Zhuang is right. There must be a treasure hidden in the altar. That is why all the heavenly sovereigns want to snatch it away. That's nonsense, Tian Daozi said with smile. Uncle, you should quickly go back. Your friends must have been waiting for you for a long time. After Qin Yin walked out of the heavenly Tao altar, it began moving very quickly on the ground. Sword Forest Desert, 100,000 Sword Mountain, through Heaven Sword Formation. Qin Yin looked at the towering sword mountains and sighed. Could it be that this 100,000 sword mountain was also arranged by the 9 suns? The area outside the 100,000 sword mountain has finally calmed down. The large number of ships flying here, and there have already been destroyed by the 9-dragon brilliant sun tribulation. Qin Yin took out the soul-chasing talisman, looked at Yu Shangyun's direction, and quickly flew over. Now that he has returned, he finally has the opportunity to go to the Guanghan Palace to take a look. Ling Yin is also somewhat excited because there are many big and small beauties in the Guanghan Palace. As for going to the Divine Moon Heavenly City, don't even think about it. The Divine Moon Clan's Divine Moon Heavenly City only allows women to enter. It is not a special situation. Qin Yun is unable to enter. Of course, he once boarded a Divine Moon ship filled with women. Moreover, those women on the ship did not reject him. On the contrary, many of them were his little fangirls. Qin Yun very easily passed through the hundreds of enchantments outside the Through Heaven Sword Formation. He is also secretly amazed at the team in charge of this great formation. They actually dug out the power of the great formation so quickly. The last time he entered the Through Heaven Sword Formation, the enchantments were not that strong and also not that heavy. The Through Heaven Sword Formation is operated and maintained by Xiaohua and Mountain God. 9 Yang Divine Palace's Inscription Palace, Divine Moon Heavenly City, and Guanghan Palace's Inscription Masters are all participating. Qin Yun flew towards a sword mountain in the periphery. Yu Shangyun is on top of that sword mountain. Not long after, Qin Yun arrived at the sword mountain and landed on top of it. Yu Shangyun is wearing a tight black armor and a black helmet. She is standing straight on top of a boulder, as if she is waiting for Qin Yun. After Qin Yun arrived, he could not help but twitch his nose and take a deep breath. He did not smell the wonderful fragrance on Yu Shangyun's body. Instead, he smelled another familiar fragrance. The Wind Moon Princess was here before. Qin Yun asked. She just left. Do you want to chase after her? Yu Shangyun pointed in a direction and said coldly, Do you want me to call her back? Suddenly, Ling Yun's charming laughter sounded in Qin Yun's mind. Xiao Yun, you've overturned the vinegar jar. Chapter 2436. After Qin Yun and Yu Shangyun cultivated the sacred heavenly Tao image, he indeed cultivated 2 more sacred heavenly Tao images. The reason why the Divine Cauldron Tao image and the Divine Dragon Tao image could evolve into the sacred heavenly Tao image was not because they ate sacred Tao divine pills to cultivate. It was all because of Qin Yun's accidental circumstances that these 2 sacred heavenly Tao images successfully evolved. I cultivated 2 sacred heavenly Tao images. Qin Yun quickly explained and said with a smile, I didn't eat sacred Tao divine pills to cultivate. Finally, Qin Yun told Yu Shangyun the specific situation. Yu Shangyun listened very patiently. She knew that Qin Yun must have experienced a lot during this period of time. So she also asked about the situation inside the Myriad Realms Divine Sunday. She knew that the 9-sun Divine Maiden would enter the Divine Sun, and Qin Yun would also see them. After hearing about Qin Yun's experience, Yu Shangyun's mood slightly changed. especially when she heard about the heavenly sovereigns chasing after Qin Yun. Her aura was especially terrifying. It could be seen that she also hated the heavenly sovereigns to the bone. Sister Shangyun, did you know that I was a tool for a long time? Qin Yun asked. Yu Shangyun answered truthfully. I only heard about it later. As for your situation, Mu Yu hinted to me before. I only have a rough guess. Qin Yun previously used Yu Shangyun to decipher the Divine Moon Clan's ancient secret manual and contacted Mu Yu, who left the Divine Moon Clan. Mu Yu had warned Qin Yun not to go to the Myriad Realms Divine Sunday. At that time, Qin Yun did not understand what was going on. After thinking about it, he realized that Mu Yu might already know that the heavenly sovereigns would be waiting for him there. Did Mu Yu say anything else about me? Qin Yun asked. She never said anything. She is very grateful to you for taking down the heavenly sword formation and giving our Divine Moon Clan a place to live. Yu Shangyun said. You're welcome. Qin Yun said with a smile. I'm very happy that the Divine Moon Clan and the Guanghan Palace are safe. Yu Shangyun looked to the side and said, There's an empty space here. Release the Nine-Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda. Why are you releasing the Nine-Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda? Qin Yun asked with a frown. Sister Shangyun, do you know how to contact the Divine Sun? Yu Shangyun was wearing a helmet, so her face could not be seen. However, at this moment, she was suddenly silent. Qin Yun could also sense a slightly angry emotion from her. How many Sage Dao Dan do you have? Yu Shangyun was silent for a moment, then asked coldly, You will need 12 Sacred Tao Dan S to cultivate the sacred heavenly Tao image, right? Only now did Qin Yun realize that the Divine Moon Race's great emperor wants to help him cultivate the sacred heavenly Tao image and cultivate the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra together with him. This made him a little dumbfounded. He had just returned, but this cool and overbearing fragrant beauty was already so anxious, Qin Yun only thought about it secretly. He did not dare to say it out loud, or else he would be sent flying with a slap. Sister Shangyun, thank you very much for welcoming me. Now, isn't it a little inappropriate? Qin Yun said with a dry laugh. What's inappropriate about it? You have to become stronger as soon as possible. Yu Shangyun took off her helmet and stared at Qin Yun. Her eyes were intelligent and clear, and her brows were filled with power. Although her beautiful face was filled with coldness, it added a bit of heroic and domineering aura to her. She stood there with a cold expression. Her entire body gave off a proud and aloof aura, pushing people away from her by 1,000 miles. The most contradictory thing was that such a beautiful, cold, and peerless beauty had a miraculous jade blood fragrance. Her body was filled with a fragrance that assaulted people's nostrils. That kind of gentle and charming body fragrance that could captivate one's soul was wonderful and peerless. As it assaulted his nose, Qin Yun could not help but take a deep breath. He only wanted to absorb that divine charm and strange fragrance into his body. It was to the point that Qin Yun had almost forgotten where he was. He could not even feel Yu Shangyun's slightly angry and ice-cold gaze. Hurry up and release the Nine Suns Heaven-Raising Pagoda. Yu Shangyun saw that Qin Yun was a little absent-minded and shouted softly. Oh! Qin Yun secretly bit the tip of his tongue and scolded himself for not being firm enough. He was almost bewitched. His back was also drenched in cold sweat because the state he appeared in just now was not a good thing. This meant that it was still very easy for him to be confused. As long as the other party had enough strength, they could shake his will. Furthermore, he could also discover that Yu Shangyun's current strength was much, much stronger than before. The strange fragrance on Yu Shangyun's body was definitely casually drifting out, but it carried a very strong blood-soul power that could confuse Qin Yun's mind. After Qin Yun released the Nine-Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda, he brought Yu Shangyun inside and arrived at a very quiet and elegant floor. This was a very comfortable and spacious room. After Yu Shangyun entered, the room was filled with a rich and strange fragrance, causing people's mood to become even more comfortable. Sister Shangyun, thank you for helping my mother remove the 9 Heaven Law curse. Qin Yun thought of this matter and sincerely thanked her. No need to thank me. I still haven't repaid what I owe you. Yu Shangyun sighed softly. I wonder when I'll be able to repay it. Because Qin Yun had taken down the heavenly sword formation and helped the Divine Moon clan escape a calamity. Otherwise, the sovereigns of the heavens would definitely join forces with the Divine King Jiang Xian and the Heavenly Demon Divine King to attack and annihilate the Divine Moon clan. Once the women of the Divine Moon clan were captured by them, they would definitely be kept in captivity and made to give birth to female babies as sacrifices. Then their Divine Moon clan would be even more miserable than when they were in the 9 heavens. Big Sister Shangyun, let's not talk about thanks. We are all friends, Qin Yun said with a smile. Yu Shangyun was also very straightforward. When she arrived at the room, she slowly took off her armor and clothes. This domineering Divine Moon Clan Emperor's current posture looked very elegant. Take out the Saint Dao Dan and eat it. You don't need me to teach you next, right? Yu Shangyun said in a calm tone, with a tone of command. During this period of time, Qin Yun had refined quite a few Saint Dao Dan. There were more than 20 of them. He took out 12 Saint Dao Dan and ate them. Next, he began to cultivate together with Yu Shangyun. After cultivating together, Qin Yun did not know how much time had passed. He only wished that time could stop. When he woke up, he felt as if he had just woken up from a beautiful dream. Every time he was together with Yu Shangyun, he would always feel as if he was trapped in a blurry dream. When he was together with Liu Shuyin, it was also like a dream. However, Qin Yun felt that it was very real. After waking up, he did not wake up like this because Liu Shuyin's gentleness and charm was right beside him. When Qin Yun woke up, Yu Shangyun was already wearing her armor. She did not wear a helmet. Her hair has grown a lot. Previously, it was just a bit above her shoulders, but now it has reached her waist. Sister Shangyun, if I cultivate all the sacred heavenly Dao statues, will you still be with me in the future? Qin Yun looked at Yu Shangyun's moving and absolutely beautiful face. I don't know. If I still owe you, then I will continue to help you become stronger. Yu Shangyun also directly replied. Qin Yun got up and tidied up his clothes and asked, I heard that Sister Karu is inside the Divine Moon. What's going on? It was Muyu who told her to stay inside. Yu Shangyun said, Originally, I also wanted to cultivate inside, but I was worried about the Divine Moon clan. What kind of change will happen after the Divine Moon transformation realm? Will we not be able to receive the protection of the Divine Moon like before? Qin Yun said with frown. It shouldn't be like this. Yu Shangyun shook her head. After the Divine Moon transformation realm, it will operate according to the heavenly rules in Dao tradition. It will no longer be enjoyed by us alone. But we will definitely return to the Divine Moon in the future. That is our route. Only by going up there can we become stronger. Sister Shangyun Yu, Sister Kiru, and Princess Luo were once 9 heavens goddesses. Logically speaking, there should be 9 heavens divine demons. What about the other 9 heavens goddesses? Qin Yun asked. Did they come to the divine desolate like you? They might all be dead. The 9 heavens goddesses were already fragmented many years ago. They are not like the 9 sun goddesses who gathered here. Yu Shangyun lightly sighed. Her eyes are also filled with sorrow. Clearly, the fragmentation of the 9 heavens goddesses is a very sad matter in her heart. Qin Yun thought about it and decided to ask about Bloodline Heavenly Rune. Then, do you know about the existence of Bloodline Heavenly Rune? Qin Yun asked. Not many people know about this matter. After Yu Shangyun heard this, her entire body shivered. She abruptly looked at Qin Yun. Her expression became solemn and sharp. She said in deep voice, How do you know about Bloodline Heavenly Rune? Qin Yun is secretly startled. Yu Shangyun's reaction towards Bloodline Heavenly Rune is very big. She also doesn't know that Siekaru obtained Bloodline Heavenly Rune before. I received news that the Heaven Creation Divine Palace is looking for Bloodline Heavenly Rune. They even want to look for Xiao Shi. Qin Yun said. Yu Shangyun's expression gradually became ice cold. She narrowed her eyes and said in cold voice, These guys from the Heaven Creation Divine Palace still haven't given up? Didn't Xiaoxi tell you about this? Qin Yun asked. She didn't. She has some matters to take care of. She is not in the Sword Forest Desert. Yu Yun's eyes flickered, and she said, Leave the matter of bloodline heavenly rune to me. Focus your energy and properly cultivate the sacred heavenly Tao image. Qin Yun wants to cultivate the divine moon Tao image. He feels that cultivating this Tao image is very suitable, because he planned to secretly go to the divine moon of the heavens to find Xiekru, who might be able to trigger an opportunity to evolve his divine moon Tao idol. Qin Yun nodded and said, Oh, that's right. Do you know where your mother went? She left with your father and said that for you. She must go to a place. Yu Yun asked, I am a tool. When I was created, they hid my lifeline. My mother must have gone to protect my lifeline. Qin Yun let out a long sigh. I also don't know where she is. Yu Yun gently caressed Qin Yun's face. Her voice became a bit gentle and said softly, Don't think too much. If you can cultivate 10 sacred heavenly Tao images and step into the Tao God realm, you will be able to fight against that scoundrel heavenly sovereigns. With strength, you will no longer be a tool. Qin Yun gently held the soft, lily-white hand on his face. Yu Yun did not retract her hand and let Qin Yun caress it. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.